Just a Rinnegan? That's not enough. I want the Tenseigan too. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction, so please don't attempt real magic. The results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 76. Xingjun Dao, a teacher of the Manzhong Academy, looked solemnly at the thunder in the sky. They had already taken a defensive stance, and no matter what, they could not let lightning hurt the students. Boom, thunder spreads, pours down. Ha ha ha, I see how you saved this group of ants. Yuanjie narrowed his eyes. Your Ning family behaved like this. Are you really not afraid of the people of the national government and the academy to ask for sin? Ask sin. Ning Xiaojun laughed. Do they dare? They're just a bunch of bastards. I really have to thank them for their inaction. Otherwise, our family would not have been the judges of this land. Yes, Yuanjie raised his eyebrows. They don't dare. I dare. Just you. Ning Xiaojun sneered. You are just a genius with a little better physique, and you died before you grew up. You are not a shit. The thunder dissipated, leaving a burning mark on the ground. Ning Xiaojun laughed. The pariah you care about has been smashed by lightning, and you are still talking about it here. Yes, a special vortex appeared at the place where the thunder struck just now, and everyone looked around in confusion. Where did we go just now? It's a strange place. I don't know, it seems to have escaped a catastrophe. Who saved us? Teacher, is that you? Almost all students are looking at the teachers in the major colleges. Xingjun's face turned red. She hadn't done anything just now. Liu Qiang held a watermelon knife and looked at the figure with solemn eyes. Could it be him? It was a time and space spell just now. How could he be a high school student? Ning Xiaojun's face turned wide in shock. He didn't expect that a group of students would appear again unharmed. Just when he was in a daze, the kaleidoscope pattern of Yuanjie's right eye spun rapidly. Kamui, Ning Xiaojun's right hand holding the spear, seemed to be torn apart by life, and he howled in pain. You, what kind of monster are you? Ning Xiaojun retreated in a panic. He raised his right hand and saw that the wound that had been cut very flat from his wrist, even if he cut it with a knife, it was impossible to not have a drop of blood come out. The first time he grew so big, he panicked, he was afraid. A special vortex appeared in Yuanjie's hand, and in a moment, Ning Xiaojun's palm appeared on his hand. Want it? Yuanjie chuckled. He knew that the family had a secret technique and could reconnect. If you want, look at your pity, then I'll give it back to you. Yuanjie gently threw the broken hand. Amaterasu, when the severed hand flew in the air, a black flame burned. Ning Xiaojun didn't dare to take it. He had read the information before, and he knew that Yuanjie had a strange black flame, and if he didn't burn the object he touched, it would never be extinguished. Seeing a part of his body being roasted in front of him, Ning Xiaojun was furious. He felt Yuanjie's attitude of looking down on people. When was their family looked down upon? Ning Xiaojun threatened viciously. Yuanjie, I advise you to tie up your hands, otherwise, be careful of the people around you, whether it is your sister or Li Tiansha, or even your parents' graves. They will not be able to withstand the anger of our Ning family. Yuanjie's expression sank. Are you threatening me? Ning Xiaojun thought that the other party was afraid, and he said with a smile, that's right, you can understand it as a threat. Only the cruel words of the strong can be regarded as threats, and the cruel words of the weak can only be jokes. Yuanjie laughed, and Vientian pulled him in front of him. Actually, in my eyes, you are also quite ridiculous. Maybe you don't know something. I'm the person who hates people threatening me the most. The first person who threatened me was the Jin family, and the whole village ate that night, and the grave grass was several meters high. The last one was the K family, and now it's still hot. Do you want to take you to his house to visit? Ning Xiaojun's face changed. They had known these things for a long time, and some things were understood more clearly. At this moment, Ji Qing flashed over with a thunder wedge, and she put a sword against Ning Xiaojun's throat. As long as he advanced another inch, his life would be gone. K Qing said with a grim face, your Ning family over there has been killed by me. Do you have anything to say to me? Ning Xiaojun, madman. It's all a bunch of crazy people. Aren't they afraid of the Ning family's sanctions? Ning Xiaojun said viciously, don't regret it then. You can't bear the anger of the family, prepare for the revenge of the entire Ning family. Ha ha ha. It doesn't matter if we die, but you Yuanjie, Yuanjie, and that Li Tiansha, none of you will be able to run away by then. At this time, a mushroom head suddenly appeared in front of Ning Xiaojun. Yuanjie and Li Tiansha are the disciples handpicked by my Azure God. If your surname Ning is daring, I don't mind going to your house to sit down. Dean, the swift wind god, quickly used his spiritual power to take Li Tiansha and flew over. When the wind god arrived, Yuanjie ran to Li Tiansha and handed her a few bottles of recovery potion. Azure God Li Qing said bitterly, "How, you are wrong. I'm letting you see the opportunity to act, not letting you eat melons and watch the play, okay?" Yao Heo's expression froze. Did he really understand the wrong meaning? Keqing stood aside holding his chest. Ning Xiaojun stared at the illusory spirit body with shocked eyes. This is that move to move the heavens. According to legend, this is a skill that only the ninth order of the Great Late Realm has. I can't imagine that the Academy attaches so much importance to them. You have to go back and tell the master, let him stop. The Ning family really can't beat the Academy, unless the Saga Alliance makes a move. But in the Saga Alliance, each family cherishes their feathers very much and wants them to make a move. Unless the price is high enough. Li Qing walked over, squatted down and gave a thumbs up. He smiled and said to Li Tiansha, "I saw the fight you had just now. It was too bloody and too young." The corners of Yuanjie's mouth tugged after hearing this. "Brother youth?" He glanced at Li Qing's figure, and then shook his head. "Although I am wearing the same tights, it is a pity that it is not green and not young enough." Li Tiansha raised her head in amazement and looked at the mushroom head Li Qing. She didn't expect that the dignified Azure God would take the initiative to talk to herself. Yuanjie quickly pulled Li Tiansha up. He was a little afraid. In case she opened her mouth and closed her mouth in the future, she would not dare to think about it in the future. Ning Xiaojun's face was gloomy, and he was very ugly. "Li Qing, do you want to be an enemy of the Ning family?" Li Qing put away his hippie smile, and he recovered the coldness that a strong person should have. He turned his head and looked at Ning Xiaojun coldly, his index finger swaying from side to side, and said, "No, no, no, I'm not going to be an enemy of the Ning family. I'm going to be the enemy of the entire family. From today, the Academy has officially broken with the Saga Alliance." Declaration of War. Chapter 77. Why? Ning Xiaojun was stunned. He didn't understand that the Academy that had been watching and never made a move would actually be so bloody this time. Even Keqing, who was controlled by Yuanjie, looked sideways. These words came out of Li Qing's mouth, and countless people present were stunned. Xingjun Gaoman, Dean, what is he? The wind god breathed a sigh of relief. Is he finally going to start working? He has long been unaccustomed to what the family does. He was separated from his brother at an early age and wandered on this continent alone. In the process of growing up, he was persecuted by the family. If the Academy hadn't taken him in and nurtured him, he wouldn't have become a god today. Li Qing showed his white teeth and smiled. There is no reason. I just suddenly want to fight. Do whatever you want. This is youth. Youth, are you big? Do you know how much damage your youth will cause? Ning Xiaojun complained in his heart. But he didn't dare to say this sentence to his face. He was worried that Li Qing was just angry words, and he didn't dare to add fuel to the fire. At this time, a handsome and extraordinary avatar descended from Ning Xiaojun. Xingjun Daoman and the others gasped, "Why is he here?" Li Qing narrowed his eyes. "Li Ian God, long time no see. Azure God, I heard that you are going to be an enemy of our Ning family." The flaming sun god unleashed an aura that was not inferior to the Azure God, and it was also the strength of the ninth order of the Great Late Realm. It's just that the camps are different. One represents the Ning family and the other represents the Academy. The fierce sun god glanced at Yuanjie and Li Tiansha casually, and the two suffered tremendous pressure on them. Yuanjie opened the Shinluo heavenly sign, and only then did he catch his breath. Although the strength of the incarnation of Faxiang Xianjin is only half of that of God, with Yuanjie's current strength, it is really not enough to look at it. Keqing also held the sword tightly. The flaming sun god is the top 20 gods, but it is not comparable to the 32 of the waist of the family. Even if she comes, I am afraid that it will be enough to choke. The flaming sun god gently raised a finger, and a hot energy shot out from his fingertip, and the attack range was none other than Yuanjie, Li Tiansha and the two. Yuanjie has the virtual power of Shinwa Itahide, but what about Li Tiansha? Li Qing teleported in front of the two. gently raised his hand, and the energy dissipated. The flaming sun god looked sideways, and he said in a deep voice, "Azure God, it seems that your divine dragon power has grown again." Li Qing smiled indifferently. "You are not bad, 17 are subservient to you." The two strong men turned into four eyes facing each other, bursting into sparks, and everyone's hearts palpitated, so afraid that they would fight here. Wang Qing clenched her hands, and she asked nervously, "Dad, do you want to call the gods of our family to come over?" The head of the Wang family looked deeply at his daughter, his face complicated. He shook his head and refused. "Now that the situation is unclear, let's wait and see," but, perhaps feeling that he was speaking too heavily, he added, "Obedient." The fierce sun god sneered, and his gaze moved to Li Qing again. "Azure God, let me ask you again, does the Academy really want to be an enemy of us?" Li Qing, one thing to say. Your family has done it over the years, so, are you here to be a messenger of justice? The messenger of justice does not dare to be a messenger. I just simply dislike what you have done. I don't believe that your Azure God is a virgin. God is outside the world. What does the death and life of mortals have to do with us? The words of the flaming sun god aroused excitement in the crowd. A pair of eyes looked at the man angrily. Li Qing shook his head and did not agree with the other party's view. There is no God in the world. You and I are mortals. I don't know where your superiority comes from. You're just born into a family and have a little talent. Ever wondered what if you were born into an ordinary family? What will happen? Over the years, how many civilian geniuses have your family innocently killed, and in order to consolidate the ruling power of the family, hundreds of SS-level geniuses are violently killed every year. The Jiang family who died tragically in Bali Middle School is just a microcosm. Do you think we don't know? Do you think we don't care? That's because for 100 years, the powerhouses of our academy and the army of the national government have fought bloody battles with spirit beasts outside the border, in exchange for a temporary peace of your family. Li Qing said bitterly, your family not only did not help, but even committed evil acts in the territory of the great Xia dynasty, mutilating geniuses, and causing indelible damage to this homeland. Such inferior behavior of pigs and dogs is the anger of people and gods. Heaven forbidden. Heaven and earth are damned. When everyone listened, it was no wonder that the people of the academy had not made a move. It turned out that they could not get out to solve the internal troubles. Compared with internal troubles, external worries are the top priority. As for the gods of the national capital, forget it. The mud bodhisattvas crossing the river are difficult to protect themselves. They are in a stable territory to prevent rebellion. Do not expect them to go to war. The fair sun god laughed unconcernedly. That is, you fools care about this. Seriously, I would like to thank you. It is because of your sacrifice that the world is peaceful. You should have a bright future. It's a pity, dragged down by the so-called righteousness of the world. Only now do you want to be an enemy of the family? I don't know what you're waiting for. Li Qing kicked over angrily. The Dharma incarnation of the flaming sun god was shattered. He indifferently took out a handkerchief and wiped his shoes, and said lightly, what do you think I'm waiting for? I'm waiting. Then, Li Qing took out 2 gold-encrusted jade medals from his pocket, and the jade was engraved with the seal text desolate ancient and solemnly handed them to Yuanjie and Li Tiansha. 3 days later, come to Jingcheng with these 2 jade cards. In the academy, your situation will be safer. Tonight, in addition to the swift wind god, the Taiyan god and the moon dance god will come to Jianghua, and when the time comes, escort you all the way to Jingcheng. After explaining everything, Li Qing punched out the teleportation array, and before stepping in, his steps paused. Imperial Spirit God, I don't know if you are satisfied with my arrangement. Keqing held his chest expressionlessly, unable to see joy or anger. Alice. I hope that our misunderstanding back then can be resolved, and the academy can't help itself. With these last words, Li Qing walked into the teleportation array before sighing, and no one heard them. After Yuanjie saw Li Qing leaving, he curiously leaned in front of Keqing's face and asked, Sister, what happened back then? Can you reveal a little? Keqing blushed a little. Don't go overboard. Don't ask. Hey, I thought your boyfriend was killed by the family, and the academy didn't care. Keqing glared at him with wide eyes, and a sword was placed next to his neck. You don't talk nonsense. I've never had a boyfriend. You talk nonsense again. Be careful of my righteous annihilation. The corners of Yuanjie's mouth tugged, but he didn't expect Yuanjie's reaction to be so fierce. He quickly and carefully used his fingers to gently pull away the blade hanging around his neck. Keqing burst out laughing, and she put the sword back. Yuanjie's face was stunned. He was still the first time to see his sister in this life laughing. However, the action of laughter and even the curve of the corners of the mouth are similar to that person, really like. Brother, I'll go kill that person first before leaving. Let me come. You have killed enough today. Leave me some soup to drink. Tenseigan's heart that had originally been put down hung again, and he crawled back in fear. What do you want to do? Don't worry, I'll be gentle. I believe you're a ghost. Chapter 78. After Li Qing returned to the desolate ancient academy, he tried his best to line up the crowd and use a secret method to test the loyalty of every family member in the academy. If you find that your loyalty to the academy is less than 90%, you will be expelled immediately. Let him go back to the family to mix by himself. Let the elders of your family teach. Don't come to rub the resources of the academy. The academy and the Saga Alliance maintained a century-old friendly relationship and officially broke off. Jianghu No. 1 Middle School, the children of major families who had originally transferred to school, were expelled before they enrolled, and they arrived home speechless. This is not the result that the Saga Alliance wants to see. In fact, the influence of the academy on the Saga is still great. First of all, if you can prostitute resources in vain, you only need to pay a little insignificant tuition fee. You can use the cultivation resources of the academy safely, and you can save hundreds of millions of gold spirit coins every year. Second, when the child is studying at home, how much do you expect him to perform? Learn to learn and mix. 100 years ago, the academy and the family had not yet cooperated, and there were only a few geniuses of the family who could be promoted to the great evening realm every year. That is, after friendly cooperation, the number of rain fell and gradually increased. Besides, how can the elders in the family have so much time to teach this group of little fart children? The third is that the Saga Alliance does not know how strong the academy is now. They have been honing outside the border for nearly 100 years, and teachers will take students out for internships from time to time, cultivating a large number of talents. Students can train so well. What about the group of teachers? On the surface, there are only 8 gods in the current academy, but who knows how much strength is hidden behind the scenes? At the meeting of the Family Alliance, the leader was Huangfu Gongyan, who looked around the major family masters below with a calm face. How many times have I told you to restrain yourself and disobey? Look now, which of you is responsible for this loss? The lords of the families are slandered in their hearts. Your Huangfu family doesn't want the eldest brother to talk about the second brother. Who doesn't know? You once arranged for a demigod of the 5th order of the Great Late Realm to assassinate the SSS-level genius Yuanjie. Perhaps this act of yours is the trigger for this rupture. Who in the world does not know, the academy has always attached importance to talents. How could they possibly allow you to start with the flowers of the future? Wang Badian interjected a digression. When did the 7 gods of the academy return from the outside? It should be the day before the first test of the spiritual exam, and I guess the postponement of the exam should have something to do with the fact that they haven't come back yet. Is it on the eve of the first spiritual power test? No wonder the Jin family is so troublesome at the door of Jianghu No. 1 Middle School, but the academy can endure it. It turns out that the masters are not at home. It turned out that there was only one wind god with the weakest strength left in the territory. It's really a good means. It actually made the family jealous for so long. It's strange that they never send a person to the side. And they don't know the situation over there at all. Many masters of the main killing faction side one after another, missing a great opportunity to kill SSS-level geniuses. But the question arises, why did the Ning family keep silent after killing Li Ni's family and the principal Su Ning in public at Bali Middle School? Could it be that their god is recovering from a serious illness? Or, let the bullets fly a little longer? Li Yang slapped the table angrily and said, why didn't you make a move? Our Ning family has died hundreds of thousands of young people by now. Huangfu Gongyan burst out with a strong momentum, and he pointed at the fierce sun god with an indifferent expression and said, don't talk first, there is no place for your Ning family to talk here. The flaming sun god shrunk his neck. Yes, he also thought of using the masters of the major families of the Family Alliance to protect the Ning family. Although the academy has not yet started, it is a hanging sword after all, and no one knows when it will be cut down. Alliance Master, this matter was caused by the Ning family killing a secular SS-level genius in public. I propose to abandon the Ning family, contribute property, and take the initiative to make peace with the academy. As soon as the Liang god couldn't hear it, he stood up angrily and pointed at the head of the family who had just spoken and scolded, Zhou Qianyu, the crow is as black as a crow, And your Zhou family has also done a lot of dirty things, don't think I don't know, Huangfu Gaogayan shouted impatiently, Ning Yang Wei, let you shut your dog's mouth, beat you out loud and labor management out again. The fair sun god sat down with a red face, and he stared resentfully at Huangfu Gaogayan, who was sitting in the first place. If it weren't for the decline of the Ning family, if there were 3 or 4 gods, Emperor Fu Gaogayan would dare to speak to himself like this? Someone from the main war family said, if I want to say, fight it, how can we be afraid of their academic faction? The Lord and Pai clan scoffed. How? To put it so lightly, or will your family charge first? We keep up? The main battle faction my Han family has no gods, and the charge can't take our turn. The Lord and Pai laughed. Just because there is no god in your family, you dare to shout here, right? The two factions are contending, there are countless deaths and injuries, you say fight and fight? Another main war faction spoke, Alliance Master, in a word, can you fight? Our Zhang family is ready. The Lord and Pai shouted, fart. Brag unblushingly. As far as your Zhang family shouts and beats every day, there is no one when it really hits, just a mouth. It's ridiculous. The main war faction and the main peace faction fought at the bottom, and no one could say that they would not be convinced of the other. At present, none of the first 10 families have expressed any opinions, they are all considering fighting, they are not afraid, but after the fight, they cannot afford the consequences. Neither faction will be a winner, only the national government has made a profit, and the group of people can't wait for you to fight, and they are good to lick their bags in the back. But if you don't fight, where's the prestige of the family that has been established over the years? Today it was the academy who sent to spit in their faces. And tomorrow they will go to the state capital to ride on their heads, and their absolute dominance, which has been operating for many years, will cease to exist. Huangfu Gaogayan rubbed his temples. It's really a difficult problem. He exchanged glances with Wang family, Wang Badian, and Yu family Yu Huaxu. Okay, quiet. As soon as the Alliance Master spoke, the people who were arguing below immediately closed their mouths. Whether to fight or not, let's discuss this matter, but our attitude still has to be released first. Decepticon, you go and draw up a notice and tell the Academy, the agreement signed between the Maison and the Academy 100 years ago is a mutually beneficial agreement, advising them not to insist on going their own way, deliberately inciting the argument of teaching coercion, and to make correct judgments based on the common interests of students in the world, let alone try to provoke the family, lest the relationship between the two factions deteriorate. Wang Badian's face changed. Isn't this kind of announcement usually made by the Yu family? It seems that the Wang family has been very close to Yuanjie recently, which makes Huangfu Gaogayan, the Alliance Master, secretly angry. Wang Badian could only swallow his dissatisfaction in his stomach, and so many family masters present watched. That evening, the announcement was made available to the world. Half an hour later, the 10 colleges of Jingchang jointly declared, refuse to negotiate, and attach all kinds of evil deeds that the family has done for 100 years. The world was shocked. It seems that the Academy really did not want to turn back. Chapter 79. Night, very deep. Autumn has entered Jianghu City, and the temperature has plummeted, covering the grassland with white dewdrops. The world's great shock Yuanjie did not know that he was bored reading novels in his room. Recently, he was chasing a novel about the revival of Reiki. The author put the royal power in the air, and the clan covered the sky with one hand. This setting made him, a person who lived in a civilized and harmonious flower planter in his previous life, unable to accept it for a while, and was poisoned. He didn't hesitate to give a 2-star bad review. And leave a message, brainless wisdom, this book cannot be read with a brain. Then Yuanjie walked together and suddenly thought, isn't the world he is in now? Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it won't exist. It is said that art comes from life, but in fact, art is not equal to life. Others he didn't know, the kind brother decided to give this cute new author a chance. Don't you pack your things? Li Tiansha's voice came from her room. I just have a few sets of clothes, nothing to bring. Li Tiansha's voice never came out again. He should be trying to pack the items he was going to bring. Girls generally have one more suitcase than boys. Yuanjie only remembered that in the exam temporary gift package he had purchased before, 5,000 bottles of cultivation experience potion had not yet been drunk, and he estimated that 5,000 bottles plus these days of sleeping cultivation should be able to upgrade to the fusion realm, right? Wow, experience 99.99%, Do you want to be so disgusting? Fortunately, after 12 o'clock tonight, there is one bottle of cultivation experience potion in the daily package. Yuanjie wanted to go over and help, but Li Tiansha pushed him out with a red face. He lay bored on the bed and stared at the ceiling, and suddenly felt two powerful auras approaching. His mind moved, and only a golden flash was left on the bed. The sudden appearance of Yuanjie startled the Taiyang god and the moon dance god. The wind god Jiahao was not surprised. He looked at the two beautiful colleagues stunned, and his heart was amused. Taiyang god, moon dance god, hello, I am the object you want to protect. Yuanjie. Brother Ji is familiar with himself and introduces himself at the beginning, which makes the two beauties a little overwhelmed. Taiyang god blushed and stretched out his hand, shook it slightly, and pursed his mouth. The moon dance god looked at Yuanjie curiously, and it was indeed a hero out of a young man. According to rumors, the higher the physique, the higher the appearance, and he really does not deceive me. Don't look at the wind god cultivation realm is higher than Yuanjie, but he is only an SS-level physique, and his appearance is crushed. Although Yuanjie was an otaku in his previous life, in this life, due to the improvement of his identity and talent, he gradually became confident. After a friendly exchange, it made the two goddesses tremble. Okay, the duty of the three great gods, I will go back to rest first, and after arriving in Jingcheng, I will invite you to dinner. Taiyang looked at the golden flash and gradually disappeared into his eyes. It's kind of interesting, it's an innocent and kind young man at first glance. The wind god tugged at the corners of his mouth and was non-committal. Innocent and kind? You never saw him kill someone. Finally, at 12 o'clock, after Yuanjie drank a bottle of cultivation experience potion, his spiritual power pool just reached a critical point. A powerful aura erupted from him. The wind god suddenly opened his eyes. I blanched, upgraded again, so fast. Taiyang Shenmei's eyes flowed, and his small mouth opened slightly. Look at this breath, it should be the fusion realm, right? The moon dance god nodded dumbly and said, there's nothing wrong. It was only a month and a half before he had cultivated to reach the fusion realm, and he was still an SSS-level physique, which could no longer be described as a genius. I remember that Yuanjie's cultivation speed was not that fast at that time, right? Yuanjie sat up, clenched his fists a little, feeling the majestic breath in his body, and he felt that he had endless strength at this time. He checked the spiritual power pool, and the spiritual power in the pool did not disappear, but began to have life inside. Golden carp swam around in the thick white spiritual power. Is this the fusion realm? The corners of Yuanjie's mouth hooked lightly. Presumably his strength must be super higher than before. Ling. Congratulations to the host for upgrading to the fusion realm. Kaleidoscope Sharingan has automatically evolved into the Eternal Kaleidoscope Sharingan, and the white eye has evolved to the third stage Eternal Kaleidoscope Pupil Technique. Greatly increases the attack power and speed of the physical technique by 10 times, and Susanoo can open the complete body according to the pupil technique currently learned by the host. Additional new skills are passive, Amaterasu, extra activation plus Earth Life Earth Explosion Celestial Star, additional activation of Tensuki Shock Star Kamui, extra activation of Kamui Reish, only used in the Susanoo state, White Eye third stage, 6 modes can be opened. Greatly enhancing the physical attack power and speed by 20 times, Seeking Dao Jade needs to be promoted to the Great Evening Realm to be able to use it. Yuanjie took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the benefits of upgrading to the fusion realm were so many. This wave is a big improvement. If I face a weak god, I should also have the power of a battle. Yuanjie carefully read the promotion instructions. Add soul life? This thing is actually given directly? Fortunately, I didn't choose it at the beginning, otherwise I would have lost blood. At the beginning of the gradual convergence realm, Susanoo could only open to the 4th state at most. And now that the fusion realm is realm, it can actually directly open the complete body? It's so cool, Yuanjie shouted excitedly. However, compared to the improvement of the riding wheel eye, the white eye is super evolution. The original white eye, Yuanjie was only used to observe the surroundings, sense energy and find out the weaknesses of the other party. In his opinion, the white eye is just a state, able to create all his attacks. As for the Bagua empty palm and the Bagua 32 palms, the power of these two skills is far less powerful than the Earth Explosion Heavenly Star and the Super God Luo Heavenly Sign. I never expected that the white eyes that had been hanging the tail of the crane had actually undergone earth-shaking evolution in the fusion realm. He couldn't wait for the flying thunder god to flash onto the playground and open the 6 modes activated in the 3rd stage of White Eye. Yuanjie's whole body was covered in cyan flames. He stretched out his right hand, and a set of robes gradually appeared on his body, moving with the wind. The burning flame made people's hearts palpitate. He slowly opened his eyes. The white eye on the left had turned cyan, and the right chakra eye still hadn't changed, but faintly emitted a lilac light. Up, he half squatted and jumped. If you are not careful, you will jump into the sky. He levitated high in the sky of Jianghu City, looking down at the lights of 10,000 homes. Yuanjie looked left and right at the state on his body and muttered, "Is this the power of God?" He gently raised his right hand towards the distant sea. In the palm of the palm, there was a terrifying energy constantly expanding, and suddenly a laser shot out, blowing the sea away, a huge wave thousands of meters high. Very good, the Bagua empty palm has also evolved. This should be a weakened version of the Golden Wheel reincarnation explosion. He is very satisfied with the 6-way model. When you don't become a god, you can never imagine how powerful God really is. Chapter 80. Brother, how did you see a blue figure flash by just now? Huh? I didn't notice it. Yadhao was just too busy shocking to look at the playground. Tuyin God sinks his heart. Could it be that there is a new god in Jianghu City? A cyan flash suddenly appeared behind the 3 of them, and the swift wind god, the Taiyang god, and the moon dance god felt a crisis and hurriedly entered a state of combat readiness. Don't be nervous, it's me. How are you? The Taiyang god was dumbfounded, but she didn't expect that the new god she was worried about turned out to be Yuanjie. Yuanjie said with a smile. He circled around, blinked his eyes and asked, "How is it, handsome or not?" The Taiyang god touched him carefully, but he didn't expect that the cyan flames that kept jumping on his body were not hot, but warm. She praised from the bottom of her heart, "It's really handsome. Where did you get this outfit? I also want to buy a set to wear." Haha, the eyes come with it, is it so strong? The 3 gods of them were increasingly unable to understand what the ability of those eyes that Yuanjie had strengthened was. All kinds of weird memes emerge one after another, which is really worthy of SSS-level physique. Not their S-class, SS-class physique is comparable. The wind god was excited, his thumb had already raised the sword by half a point, and he longed for a fight. Yuanjie is not in the mood to fight him. Now it is 2 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock we'll get up. He only has 6 hours of sleep left. There will be a chance later. Yuanjie turned off the 6 modes and returned to normalcy, and he patted the wind god on the shoulder. After that, he turned into golden flash and disappeared in front of the eyes of the 3 gods. Sister, I'm looking forward to it more and more. The day when the family falls, I no longer feel far away. The moon dance god nodded. That's right, the stronger Yuanjie, the greater the power of our academy. Tiansha said helplessly, what are you thinking? People didn't clearly say that they want to join our academy. Don't you think his sister Yuanjie is? Perhaps. People do not depend on any forces and set up one by themselves. The swift wind god clenched his sword and said in an icy tone, as long as it is the enemy of the family, it is my good brother Yahao. At 8 a.m., Yuanjie woke up from a nightmare. In the dream, he saw Li Tiansha open the door of death to protect him, but he came one step late, watching her breath disappear in his arms. Mada, I don't know if giving her 8 Dunjia techniques is a good thing or a bad thing. At this time, the door of his room opened, and Li Tiansha saw him sitting on the bed in confusion. Are you awake? Yuanjie got up and held her fiercely in his arms, desperately smelling the smell of her body. Although Li Tiansha didn't know what was wrong with him, he still gently hugged his waist and put his head on his shoulder. Have you held enough? No, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold you in the future. Li Tiansha raised a smile. How so? Haven't I always been there for you? Then she pushed him away, looked him seriously in the eye and said, don't worry, I will never leave this family, and I will never leave you and sister Yuanjie, unless I die. Li Tiansha pulled him out of the room, and at the dining table, the 3 gods of the academy had already sat down. Eat it quickly. The breakfast made by the shallow girl is delicious. Taiyang god narrowed his eyes and said with a smile. The 5 people spent half an hour slowly eating breakfast, but when they went out, they stumped Li Tiansha. She touched her head embarrassedly. It seems that I brought a little too much. It's okay, we all have space rings. That trouble is too yin god sister. Little things. When Yuanjie and Li Tiansha went out, they accidentally bumped into Liv. Today's Liv is particularly beautiful, wearing a black and white JK, with black silk on her legs, and a long double ponytail that looks lively and cute. Yuanjie, are you leaving? Brother Ji looked inexplicable, and he nodded slowly. Then, this is for you, I wish you a safe journey. Liv took a peace charm from her pocket, shoved it into his hand, turned and ran away. Yuanjie stared blankly at the peace talisman in his palm. It was beautifully made, and he was careful when he saw it. The peace talisman was embroidered by Li for a long time, stitch by stitch, and it was filled with the girl's mind. It's just this mind, very. Li Tiansha looked up at Yuanjie, and then at Liv who was far away. She seems to like you. In fact, she always knew that she had helped Li deliver love letters to Yuanjie, but I don't know if he had read it, and now, specially remind him. She is also a woman, and she does not want to let the woman's careful thinking sink into the sea, and no one cares. Yuanjie took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, I know, do you like her then? She's cute, Yuanjie replied ambiguously, and he placed the peace talisman in the inner pocket of his chest in his clothes. Let's go. Liv, who was hiding from the side and looking at each other, watched the man disappear from his sight little by little. In the future, I don't know if I will see him again. Liv and his party fell silently. Perhaps, goodbye is already a stranger, right? She remembered him, but he didn't know her. She and him, the gap is too big. After all, they are not people of the world. She will not be selfish and stalking, humble her, can only silently like him in the dark. Bless him, may his future be prosperous, and a safe life. Maybe when she was old, she would remember that in her short life, there was a boy who took all of her. Unfortunately, she was only an insignificant guest in his life after all. Alice, Xiaofu, let's go. You've been standing for a long time. Grandma Liv patted her granddaughter on the shoulder. What she didn't know was that Yuanjie had secretly returned an hour later, watching her silently behind her. A sigh was left at the end. Liv walked aimlessly at night on the playground where he used to sweat, and when he returned home, he found that the small villa where Yuanjie used to live was missing. Only a vacant lot remained. The 5 people talked and laughed along the way. Jianghua was far from Jingcheng, and it would take a day to reach it with all his strength. Yuanjie is not in a hurry, but they have 3 gods closely protected, plus a sister who can support remotely at any time. There are 4 gods in total. Their speed was not fast, and he took Li Tiansha to eat the food of various places. The 3 gods of the academy walked behind them, leisurely. The Taiyan god and the moon dance god have been fighting monsters outside the Guan for 100 years, and the burden on the wind god is heavier, and he is alone in the territory to support the scene. This journey, for them, is also a relaxation. The boundless maple leaves paved the path, and suddenly a strong wind blew up, ruining the scenery. With the thumb of the swift wind god, the sword was raised in his hand, and the moon dance god turned lightly, and countless rose petals surrounded them. The Taiyan god held a digital machine tightly in his hand. Flaming sun god, what do you want to do? Ha, don't you think your question is naive? Chapter 81. There were 6 people standing in front of the 5 Yuanjie. The god of flaming sun, the god of silver water, the god of imperial thunder, the god of Jianmu, the god of vibranium, 5 gods, and a demigod surrounded us. What a big hand. The fierce sun god smiled and said, what about that? In order to be foolproof, we don't want to face anyway. Yuanjie smiled. It seems that you are still a villain with a bit of intelligence. The flaming sun god's smile froze. Yuanjie closed his eyes and hurried to communicate the system. Xiao Tuangtong, have you forgotten something? The system touched its head. What? I lean on the rank package. I've upgraded to the fusion realm. Won't this be arranged for me? The system's cheeks flushed, as if she had forgotten, and she whispered, okay, you refresh again. Yuanjie opened his eyes and closed his eyes again, and he suddenly found the fusion realm grade gift package in the corner. 100,000 gold spirit coins, right? Dog system, I found that you don't do anything except pit money. The system is very aggrieved. When there is a request for people, it will call people small, and after getting it, it will scold people for the dog system. Is this a man? Yuanjie does not talk nonsense. Directly clicked abiding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 bottles of great cultivation experience potions, optional leapfrog divine skill chest x1, 6 puppets, and divine weapon fragments x50. Time was running out, and Yuanjie hurriedly chose the heavenly hand power in the self-selected leapfrog divine skill treasure chest. Heavenly hand force, Within visual range, it can instantly allow the caster and the target object to exchange. This skill cannot be strengthened. The wheel tomb side hell is indeed very good, but he is not sure whether the doppelganger will be discovered in front of the gods. Seek a wave of stability, and choose the power of heavenly hands. System: why doesn't there be a self-selected divine skill chest in this level package? Yuanjie still wanted to learn Muduan. The system gave him a blank look. You take a good look at the 6 puppets. It's much better than choosing your own divine skill treasure chest. After Yuanjie heard this, he immediately clicked on the item description of the 6 Dao doll. 6 puppets. Placing the soul in the puppet can give the corresponding 6 abilities before death. The greater the resentment, the stronger the strength. He picked up the doll and looked at it, and it was written on the back: Beast Dao, Human Dao, Hell Dao, Azure Dao, and Hungry Ghost Dao. Good guys, isn't this the Pain 6 way? Only the Heavenly Dao puppet is missing. It seems that I am the Dao of Heaven. The first 6th-path doll. Yuanjie suddenly remembered a person. She should be quite suitable, as if she happened to be an SS-level genius of the Beast Royal lineage. Yuanjie opened his eyes and drank the Great Cultivation Experience potion. He found that the fierce sun god was still talking about pre-match trash over there. Maybe they were confident, right? Think that the 5 gods on your side hit the 3 of you gods. Hit whatever you want. Yuanjie narrowed his eyes and mocked. Brother Yangwei, have you ever heard a word? The villain died of talking too much? The fierce sun god smiled. Let's not say whether I am a villain or not. Are you sure that I died, and not you die? At this time, a scream suddenly sounded beside the flaming sun god. Indeed. There are too many words. I saw that Quing slowly pulled out a blood-stained sword from the demigod's chest, and on the blade, a drop of yin red fell to the ground, dyeing the maple leaves red. The thunder power on her body exploded, crushing the demigod into powder. Everyone in the flaming sun god never expected that Yuanjie would actually kill a demigod silently. I've always been fierce in my work, and I can't hear you talking nonsense here. Indeed, I think my sister is right. Yuanjie's voice suddenly appeared beside them, and even put on the shoulder of the flaming sun god. Such a bold act shocked everyone. And beside the 3 major gods of the academy, the silver water god didn't know when he suddenly ran to the opposite side. What the hell is this? Silently, he actually kept the 5 gods of the family in the dark. The flaming sun god showed a cruel smile, and his right hand quietly charged his power, ready to kill him with an unexpected blow. Yuanjie's palm slapped the face of the flaming sun god heavily, and his expression was very provocative. My skin is itchy, I really want to be beaten, can you hurry up? Saga small garbage. The wind and the gods were almost frightened. They didn't expect Yuanjie to dare to do such a thing. Wasn't he looking for death? With such a close distance, there is absolutely no escape. The 4 great gods attacked at the same time. Even if he had been promoted to the fusion realm, it would not help. God's wrath, are you sure he can withstand it? Why can't you hit me? Don't hit me and go. The egghead of the family. Yuanjie slapped Jian Mushen, who was standing on his right, and scolded fiercely. Brother Ji, you this. His commotion made Li Tiansha look stupid. Quing, who was controlled by Yuanjie, frowned, although her younger brother was very relieved to do this, but it was too dangerous. She quickly said to Yuanjie, Stinky brother, you don't want to die? Come back soon. Sister, I know you're in a hurry, but don't worry. Then, Yuanjie slapped the right face of the royal thunder god again. Aren't your family crazy? Yes? Why am I sending it to the door now so that you dare not fight? Rubbish. After speaking, he spat on the vibranium god, turned around and left. Yuanjie's provocative behavior made the 4 gods of the family blow their beards and glare at them in anger. They are not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the mud people still have 3 points of fire. They are accumulating energy and holding out the strongest move. They must cut the stinky boy by 1,000 cuts. Let him die without a corpse, in order to solve the hatred in their hearts. The corners of Yuanjie's mouth drew a slight arc, and he looked at the silver water god who was rushing back with all his strength in front of him, revealing a Senran smile. The silver water god suddenly had a sense of foreboding in his heart. Stinky boy. Go to hell. The old man has lived for 300 years, and it is the first time that he has been slapped in the face like this. Untouchable, your saliva has stained the old lady's new clothes, and the old lady wants you to die. The 4 gods of the family had been holding their breath for so long, and they were finally about to release it. They each have the strongest killing moves in their hands, not to mention Yuanjie. Even if it is a god, he will die. They saw Yuanjie's figure buried in a sea of fire, containing the strongest blow of the four gods. He must die too much to die anymore, and even the screams were buried in the explosion. The family is not disgraced, this is the end. The eyes of the wind god instantly became strange. After the aftermath of the explosion dispersed, the four gods of the family saw the scorched black corpse inside, and suddenly let out a bad breath. I don't know what you're laughing at, I just called your family a waste. Don't I live well? A mocking voice sounded particularly harsh to the four gods of the family. How are you? The flaming sun god's eyes widened, extremely shocked. Since Yuanjie was unscathed, the corpse inside was. Ha ha ha, of course it's the silver water god. Do you want to take advantage of the heat? The silver water god, known as the three beautiful goddesses of the family, died in vain, and the pearl sank and died. Ugh, the Liang god had blood and tears in his eyes, and he couldn't imagine that before he started fighting, a god fell on his side. In addition to him, the other family gods wanted to run away, which was not originally their family's business, but just friendship. I never expected that cameos were risky and would kill people. The fair sun god suppressed the shock in his heart, and he asked with a gloomy face, how the hell did you kid do it? In his cognition, Yuanjie is absolutely impossible to escape. The strangest thing is why the silver water god was obviously in the distance just now, but inexplicably died in place of Yuanjie. It was as if the two had suddenly swapped places. The flaming sun god seemed to have captured the key point. Do you want to know? Yuanjie took the fog cut from Keking's hand. Heavenly hand power, his right eye suddenly opened. A moment later, the Liang god felt a tingling pain in his chest, and he looked down blankly. A bloody blade passed through the chest, and the blood stained the front of the placket dripping along the blade. That's my answer. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Yuanjie pressed his shoulder, and the mist cut in his hand was inserted hard again, rotating around, making a scalp-numbing sound. The flaming sun god vomited blood in a big gulp, and his expression weakened. Seeing this, the Imperial Thunder God standing beside him summoned the Thunder Sword. Yuanjie naturally noticed his small movements and smiled evilly. What are you, Imperial Thunder God? Why are you stabbing the old lady? Vibranium God exchanged places with Yuanjie again, and just came back and was stabbed by the Royal Thunder God, although her defense was very amazing, but she was very angry. Growing so big, no one has ever stabbed himself. The fair sun god covered his chest, gasped heavily, took out a bottle of recovery potion from his pocket, and luckily healed the wound. God, it is impossible to die so simply. The flesh of God is stronger than the average Great Late Realm powerhouse, and if he is stabbed to death with a single sword, then he is not called a god. Yuanjie returned to the swift wind god everyone, and he winked at Li Tiansha. Is it powerful that you brother Ji? Li Tian nodded lightly. There are more powerful, do you want to give it a try? As he spoke, a cyan flame burned from him. He took Li Tiansha's hand, and the cyan flame spread throughout her body. At the same time, a giant skeleton began to grow, from scratch, and finally grew bloody flesh. Pieces of armor gradually covered the whole body, and finally the Yushin dog helmet closed. Drink, the god of the wind, the god of Taiyan, and the god of the moon dance are the closest, and that damned sense of oppression comes to the face. Is this his Dharma heaven and earth? Yet Hale looked stupid. How could someone open the Dharma world in the fusion realm? Are you sure you're not teasing me? The three gods of the academy have all collapsed their worldview since they saw Susanoo. The four gods of the family on the opposite side were also stunned, and they naturally recognized this blue giant. Isn't that the giant who fought with the demigods of the Huangfu family? How could it be? They always thought that Yuanjie was protected by a superior person and escaped by chance. No one would have thought that that powerful force was Yuanjie's. After all, he was only in the Heisei realm at that time, and if someone told him that the Heisei realm could be separated from the Great Evening realm, they would not hesitate to slap each other to wake up. But today, that blue giant has reappeared in the world. How come you have made their mood? Li Tiansha's whole body was wrapped in cyan flames, and she did not feel the slightest burning sensation. She felt that her whole body was warm. Yuanjie took her hand, making her unconsciously shy. Is this a sense of security? The 200-meter tall blue Susanoo looked condescendingly at the four gods of the family opposite. In his eyes, they were like ants. The experience card is only 100 meters Susanoo, and the full body of the fusion realm Susanoo has risen to 200 meters. This is my true power. Yuanjie put the two fingers of his left hand together and put it on his chest. Next, let's go. Heavenly obstruction shocking star, boom, a huge and headless meteorite broke through the clouds, revealing a hideous face. The meteorite fell extremely quickly, obscuring the sunlight and the space became dim. I blanch. Yuanjie, are you going to destroy your teammates as well? The wind god looked up at the meteorite in the sky and gradually pressed down, and his face changed greatly. Tian god waved her hand, and she said without care, okay, since Brother Yuan has all started, then let's start. Soul of the fighting beast, please give me strength. A holy light descended from the sky, covering the whole body of the Tian god, and she held her chest and groaned in pain in the light curtain. The clothes on her body exploded one by one, silver blue armor was worn on her body, and she crouched down, and a pair of wings suddenly grew behind her back. Then, a blue-haired girl wearing a mask and long legs walked out of the light curtain, and the golden wings behind her were eye-catching. The wind was raging, blowing away the maple leaves on the ground. The flaming sun god licked his lips and said excitedly, "It is worthy of being the first beautiful goddess of the academy, and the unity of man and beast." The Tian god's blue pupils contracted, and she didn't like the presumptuous eyes of the fierce sun god. She stretched out her right hand, and the position where the flaming sun god was located suddenly blew the other party up. Immediately afterwards, she flapped her golden wings and flew up to kick the other party towards the mountain. With a booming explosion, the entire mountain peak could not withstand such a powerful force and gradually shattered. Li Tiansha smiled and said, "I am honored to be kicked by a beautiful woman, but in the back, I won't pity Xiangxiang you." The flaming sun god's Dharma heaven and earth suddenly rose. It turned out to be a golden crow. Even if you stand far away, you can feel the suffocating scorching heat. Spark, the golden crow soared into the air, and with a cry, it sowed fire on the earth. In an instant, the forest burst into flames. The vibranium god opened the Dharma heaven and earth, and wanted to make a move on Yuanjie's blue giant, when a moonlight goddess stopped in front of her. The moon dance god chuckled, "Don't be mistaken, your opponent is me." The wind god stood in front of the giant god and confronted him. Keking's back was once again ready to transform into the appearance of a black princess dress, and Yuanjie transmitted, "Sister, let me come, you save some effort." Keking just turned back in her transformation, and she stood in place for a while, raising her head to look at her brother standing above Susanoo's head. Also, Li Tiansha, I heard that your name is Imperial Thunder God? Can you fly? A pair of wings grew out of the blue Susanoo's back. HMPH. Insect tricks. The Imperial Thunder God sealed his hands, and a magic heaven and earth roared and opened his black wings, and soared into the air. It was a red-haired man with an eagle's beak and wings on his back that resembled the wings of an eagle. The red-haired man reached out and grabbed the thunder and lightning, and it turned into a thunder rod. Yuanjie chuckled, "Bully me without a weapon?" Susanoo's appearance burned with cyan flames, and he slowly raised his right hand, and the terrifying energy was gaining momentum. A cyan energy wave shot out from Susanoo's hand and hit the Imperial Thunder God's law heaven and earth. The red-haired man quickly turned the thunder rod to resist. The shocking battle here immediately attracted the people of the nearby fringe city. What is it? How can there be giants flying in the sky? Run. That's the world of law. Not the power that I can look at directly. Hurry up and tell the city lord that there is a great power to fight nearby. Yuanjie let go of holding Li Tiansha's hand, his right hand was raised, and at the same time, Susanoo conjured a blue long sword with his right hand. Susanoo quickly flew forward, and struck the thunder rod away with the sword. Losing the protection of the thunder rod, the Imperial Thunder God snorted. He wiped the bloodstains at the corners of his mouth and said in a deep voice, "It seems that I underestimated you. You are not an ordinary fusion realm." Next, the right hand of the Imperial Thunder God Luoxiong heaven and earth was raised high, the color of heaven and earth changed, and the black clouds were dense. It's like hell. There are long lines of lightning in the sky, carrying rumbling thunder. Thunderball, one after another, the thunder of destruction fell from the sky and blasted towards Susanoo's body. Yuanjie's right hand went straight down, and his left hand held his right wrist. In Susanoo's palm, black lightning was roaring and making a sharp sound. Play with Ray? Sorry, so will I. Chapter 83. Ugly, done, Sheen. Yuanjie bent over, his right hand down, his left hand supporting his right hand. It seemed that the black lightning was heavy. Li Tiansha asked worriedly, Are you okay? No, I just think this pose is a bit handsome. The 9-heaven Zhuan thunder poured down, not only slashing fiercely on Susanoo's armor, but also sealing all of Susanoo's way forward. This move Thunderball is not only a killing move, but also the strongest defensive move. The deeper you go, the more violent the energy becomes. When ordinary people have not yet reached the depths, they can only foam at the mouth, and they cannot control their weakness and soften. The Imperial Thunder God has not tasted a defeat after becoming a god, and this is his whole card. If the opponent does not attack, he will be forced to stop in place and be baptized by lightning all the time. Once attacked, there will be no return, no death. Yuanjie raised his head, the scarlet kaleidoscope pattern of his right eye rotated wildly, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Do you think this will block my attack? At this time, Susanoo's 6 arms were holding 2 shurikens in each of his arms, and then threw them hard. Flying Thunder God, the lightning on the periphery is not very dense, and you can quickly rush through with a Flying Thunder God. The huge blue Susanoo followed Yuanjie's body and kept jumping repeatedly, 12 consecutive blue flashes, and the giant's body was erratic, so that the thunder in the sky could not catch his traces. Soon it passed through the perimeter of the Radiant Cemetery. At this moment, Yuanjie could clearly see the red-haired man holding the thunder rod and chanting in a low voice. As long as you break his Dharma heaven and earth, the thunder will stop, and hiding his Dharma heaven and earth can also cause damage to his body. It's not that Yuanjie doesn't want to fight the body of the Imperial Thunder God, but he can't see where it is at all, and the powerful magnetic field distorts the space. Even the white eyes can't detect it. It may be that the level of the white eye is too low, or it may be that the opponent is too strong. Kamui Shuriken, Susanoo threw out 4 shurikens, and everywhere he went, the thunder power was continuously sucked into the Kamui space. This is it, Yuanjie's eyes froze. This is my hidden killing move. Do you think you can win over me? Heavenly hand power. The pupils of Genji's right eye widened, and Susanoo teleported to the red-haired man. He raised his right hand, and black lightning was roaring. This is my last blow, Kamui Wire Reche. Black lightning continued to erode on the red-haired man's chest, and the harsh sound made people can't help but cover their ears. Ugh, the Imperial Thunder God suffered excessively. Drink. Black lightning finally passes through the red-haired man's body, and the thunder stops abruptly, and the world returns to clarity. On the other side, a fire spewed out of the mouth of the flaming sun god, burning the 2 meteorites in the sky. Although the heavenly barrier shock star is very strong, with Yuanjie's current strength, its volume and mass are still too weak. What's more, on the opposite side was the 17th-ranked flaming sun god. A scorching meteorite rain fell in the sky, dyeing the entire world red, like hell. The royal thunder god covered his chest and spat out pus and blood, but the thunder hood that surrounded him. Yuanjie had no way to break it for a while. Then take a break. Yuanjie took out more than a dozen bottles of recovery potions from the system backpack and poured them down. The series of skills just now, as well as the second blue consumption of opening the complete body Suza, really consumed a lot of his spiritual power. Royal Thunder God, I don't understand why some of your family must put me to death. Do you know that everyone outside is scolding you for being brainless and degrading? The Imperial Thunder God also drank a few bottles of medicine before barely recovering. He said in a deep voice, since you Yuanjie sisters and brothers are not willing to join our family, there is only one way to die. Don't kill you and keep it for seeding, waiting for you to become strong in the future and destroy the family in turn. We are not brainless, nor are we virgin. Since we cannot be friends, we can only become enemies. Yuanjie was not surprised at all by the Royal Thunder God's answer. There is only one way to deal with the uncertainties that are still sparkling, and that is to extinguish them before they burn out. Yuanjie raised his eyebrows. What kind of family are you, Imperial Thunder God? I don't seem to have messed with you. How do you know that I won't be your family? Bah, if there is a sister, there must be a brother. For 3 years, your sister we have wooed countless times, and in the end she has destroyed 4 or 5 families. Yuanjie suddenly realized, no wonder he was troubled by so many families all the way. He looked brainless, but there may be someone behind it who is constantly pushing. The K family, the Jin family, the Ning family, and even the Huangfu family may all be just pawns. After all, the family has developed for tens of millions of years, And those who can survive in the world cannot be so stupid and rush to send experience. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that there are stupid forces, such as the K family and the Jin family, who are arrogant and accustomed, thinking that no one in this world can cure him. But why did they do this against me? Is the person behind it an enemy, or a friend? Thinking of this, Yuanjie smiled. Royal Thunder God, I want to ask which family you belong to. The Imperial Thunder God's heart sank. I can't tell you, is it? Investigating the background of a god is very simple. When I find out, find a time to go to your house and sit. Remember to treat me with good tea and water. On the other side, the battle between the Taiyan god and the Flaming Sun god gradually became clear, and the Taiyan god was invincible. After all, her divine position is only ranked 38th, which is even lower than Yuanjie, and it is already very strong to be able to fight like this. Several times he almost fell down, but Keking still helped save it. As for the Moon Dance god, he crushed the Vibranium god throughout the process, and within 100 moves, the Vibranium god turned into pieces of residual iron and disappeared into this world. The Moon Dance god withdrew his hand, took the position of the Taiyan god, and began to confront the Flaming Sun god. On the other side, before the great battle, the Jianmu god and the Wind god transmitted the message to Yahao. Brother, how about we put on a scene and let me pretend to be injured and escape? Yahao's expression froze, and the hand holding the knife was almost unstable, and the corner of his mouth pulled back. It's not how. Jianmu Shendu was about to cry. It's not a secret, I was forced. In fact, I don't want to come. We are just a small family, and we never dare to think of making enemies with SSS-level geniuses in your academy. It's all because the Alliance Lord put a sword around my neck and forced me to come to town. I don't want to die. If I die, within 3 days, the family will be swallowed up by that pack of jackals. Now that the major families of the family alliance have begun to move, forcing us to neutralize the family team, we can't help ourselves. The Wind god Yahao frowned. The other party's expression was sincere, and the move was not fatal. With his 23rd ranked Jianmu god strength, hitting himself a terminal god. It was effortless. The two swords collided, creating bursts of sparks. The sword and sword crossed each other, and the Wind god and the Jianmu god came face to face. The swift Wind god looked suspicious. How do you prove that what you said is not a lie? How can I trust you? Jianmu god threw him a token with the words Jingchang Li family engraved on it. Chapter 84. Li family? The swift Wind god remembered, and he remembered that the Li family's strength in Jingchang ranked 13th. In the past 100 years, the development has been rapid, and the most critical reason is that geniuses have emerged. This year alone, there have been 10 SS-level geniuses, among which Li Weiming, who was controlled by Yuanjie illusion to jump off the building, is the son of the head of the Li family. There are a total of 2 gods on Li Jiaming's face. One is Jianmu god, and the other is missing, and no one knows whether he's alive or dead. The situation is indeed very embarrassing. In many families, the only criterion for judging strength is to see who has more gods or strength. I told you my identity, can you let me go now? Jianmu Shen said anxiously. The two fought each other a few more moves, Yahao begged for stability, and he said in a deep voice, unless you make a great oath of destiny, I dare not let you go without permission. Jian Mushin raised his right hand without hesitation, put his fingers together and vowed, I, Li Jianhua, swear that in the future, the Li family will not be enemies with the academy, and will not take the initiative to participate in any action to strangle the sisters and brothers of the Yuan family, otherwise, the Li family will be destroyed. After speaking, his face turned pale, and the anti-devouring effect of the mandate of heaven oath was too strong. The Wind god thought about it again and again. At present, the academic school has broken with the family alliance. The paper's strength is that the family alliance is strong, the academic faction has a low winning rate, and one more enemy is better than one less enemy. Thinking of this, Yahao stabbed into Jianmu god's chest. The other party did not resist, covered his chest and took a few steps back. He laughed miserably. Brother, thank you. The Wind god transmitted a message to the Moon Dance god, asking her to make up for it. Jianmu Shen was seriously injured and left injured, leaving without forgetting to leave a cruel word before leaving. I will definitely come back. Suddenly there were 2 big guys left on the field, the Royal Thunder God and the Flaming Sun God. You look at me, I look at you, a little unable to understand the situation. Why did 5 gods come from his side, and there were only 3 gods on the opposite side, and before Yuanjie could make a move, he was killed and injured twice. The flaming sun god had a dark face and looked very angry. Jianmu god, this old 6, 23 and 48 can't be beaten, traitor. He spat out a mouthful of blood and said sharply, after I go back, I must tell the Alliance Master that the Li family has rebelled. Kei Qing slowly walked over holding the sword, and she sneered, you don't have a chance to go back, haunted by demons. A tall figure armed with silver-white armor slowly climbed up and appeared in front of the flaming sun god. One knife, sure. A huge red blade shadow swept through all the spiritual power of the entire space, which was Yuanjie's strongest blow. Before the blade arrives, the knife intent goes first. The surging sword intent cut the earth in front of Yuanjie, and the golden crow of the flaming sun god's magic heaven and earth screamed, flying into the sky, and the space where Yuanjie was suddenly burning with a raging fire. The silver-white tall body stood in the fire with its chest in the firelight, looking extremely strange. The giant protected Yuanjie in front of her, and all the flames could not burn 10 inches away from her. The flaming sun god was already hit by the 7th-ranked moon dance god until he was seriously injured and dying. Under normal conditions, let alone one sword sure, 2 swords, 3 knives, 4 or 5 swords can't hurt him. Could it be that my Ning family is going to die? Ning Yangwei watched the red sword light fall. Nope. The demigod of the Ning family was killed by Yuanjie's sneak attack at the beginning. If I die again, then the Ning family will have no one to support. Even if the academy can't send a hand, the family alliance will make a move. The fair sun god has a hideous face. He doesn't want to die, he can't die, he doesn't dare to die. Once the Ning family loses the protection of God, its property will definitely be washed away by angry secular people. The Ning family's territory will be cheaper for those big families. Otherwise, how do you think the 3 major families have developed and grown? The so-called Saga Alliance is a joke, sucking blood at its peak, stealth when it falls, pretending to turn a blind eye. Ning Yangwei spat out a mouthful of blood and fiercely pulled down the jade pendant on his chest. With my blood, sacrificed to the ancestors, Lao Tzu, save me. The entire sky of the great Xia dynasty instantly darkened, and 5 fingers could not be seen. Actually used that power? Which one, exactly? Really? Did they fail? In the great family, an old man said in shock. Has the great war between the Academy and the Saga Alliance officially begun? In a splendid palace, a middle-aged man sitting in the study got up and lit a wax torch and looked out the window. The incomparably violent power disappeared all the exercises, and Genji's Susanoo turned into a little starlight and dispersed. Yuanjie's Swordajura instantly turned into nickel powder, as if it had never been used. The Imperial Thunder God's absolute defense thunder shield was also blown away, and he raised his head in confusion. Academy 3 gods, quickly hold the weapon. Even if you can't fight, you can't give up lightly. Yuanjie looked solemnly at the location of the flaming sun god, and he and Li Tiansha fell from the sky. How? Can't turn on the 6-channel mode? I can't use my 8 doors. Li Tiansha was shocked. This piece of heaven and earth seems to be forbidden. What realm is it? Why is it so powerful? Flying Thunder God can't be used, and Shenwei can't be used. Yuanjie suddenly became nervous. If that is the enemy, he doesn't have to resist at all, just wipe his neck. Bang! Yuanjie and Li Tiansha fell to the ground, and the feeling of falling from a height of 200 meters was not comfortable. Fortunately, they had practiced the 8 doors of Dunjia technique, and their physical resistance was very strong. Yuanjie got up with a gray face and walked to his sister's side, and Li Tiansha also stood on the left of Yuanjie without hesitation. The 3 of them are a family and want to die together. The face of the flaming sun god was covered with wrinkles, and this time it consumed a lot of his life force by offering sacrifice to the ancestors. But it doesn't matter, leave Aoyama without worrying about firewood. As long as he is given a year, he can recover. Who the hell summoned me across the border? A young man holding a paper fan said indifferently. He crouched down and grabbed a handful of dirt, closed his eyes and sniffed. It's the taste of home. His indifferent expression became kind, and he looked down at Ning Yangwei, the fierce sun god lying on the ground. Are you a descendant of my Ning Dainyu? Ning Yangwei got up with difficulty and saluted. Back to the ancestor. The kid is your 189,456 heir. Ning Dainyu sighed. I can't imagine that my Ning family has developed for so long. He felt the spiritual power of the heir and shook his head regretfully. The spiritual power of this world is too subtle. No wonder no one in the nether has come up. Then he turned and schemed the crowd at random. When he saw Yuanjie, he chuckled in his heart. He heard the descendants behind him shouting, "Old ancestor, please strike and destroy the enemy." Ningdani saw the three gods of the academy standing with Yuanjie, and thought that they should be friends, and the enemy should be that one. Before the royal thunder god could scream, he disappeared into the world, and he couldn't find any traces left. Ning Yangwei, the fierce sun god, was stunned, and he said in a trembling voice, "Old ancestor, you are mistaken, the enemy is him, Yuanjie." "What? What is his last name?" you repeat. Chapter 85. Yuanjie, Ning Yangwei said innocently. He didn't understand why Lao Tzu suddenly reprimanded him. Ning Daniu trembled his hand, and a wave of anger was forcibly suppressed in his heart. He told himself that he could not lose grace in front of that man's descendants. "Do you know what you just said, Yuanjie?" "No." "One more sentence, enemy." Fierce sun god Ning Yangwei's expression changed, and he thought of an impossible possibility. "Byakugan descendants, have you ever forgotten the ancestral training of the Ning family?" Ning Yangwei lowered his head and said in a trembling voice, "Don't dare to forget." Back, a weak voice sounded in the space, and the three gods of the academy in Yuanjie, Yuanjie, and Li Tiansha glanced at each other, and they were suddenly a little strange. Yuanjie and Yuanjie exchanged glances, and they probably guessed it. The third generation wandered, got the Yuan god Gu, fortunately for the protection, and as for today, there are many talents and outstanding talents. Take the Yuan first. Faithfulness is the foundation, white heads, and grace to the descendants. Carrying it on his back, Ning Yangwei cried. This ancestral precept has been memorized by him thousands of times since he was a child. He wiped his tears and defended, "Ancestor, Yuanjie can't be a member of that Yuan family, and that Yuan family perished long ago, 50,000 years ago." Ning Daniu's pupils shrank, and he instantly grabbed Ning Yangwei's collar and said fiercely, "You dare to question me? What did you just say? You guys are also involved in the annihilation?" Ning Yangwei hurriedly shook his head to deny it. If he didn't admit it, he could still live on the grounds of recognizing the wrong person. If it is admitted, the consequences are unimaginable. Ning Daniu casually threw Ning Yangwei aside, kicked it by the way, turned around and saluted Yuanjie. "Yuanshin, it was the fault of the old cow, who did not teach his descendants a good lesson." Yuanjie put down his heart. It seems that he is a friend and not an enemy. Thinking of this, he wanted to laugh. Who could have expected that the ancestor summoned by the flaming sun god was actually his own person, and he had miscalculated. Since this is the case, Yuanjie will add fuel to the fire. He poked out the bad things that the Ning family did to him one by one. Of course, some of them were exaggerated. Ning Yangwei's eyes were anxious when he heard this, and he said loudly and angrily, "Stinky boy, you are slander. 500 years ago, your father's death, our Ning family did not participate in the siege." Yuanjie was strange. He saw the other party's expression, and felt as if what he said was not false. The head of the K family said that the Ning family and the Wang family were both participants in it. But now it seems that the man lied. Why lie? Is it to lead the way? Or maybe those 5 families are existences that he can provoke? Since the Ning family is not a participant, does that mean that the Wang family is not? Yuanjie felt very brain-burning, so he didn't want to. He looked at Ning Yangwei with indifferent eyes. Although the Ning family did not participate back then, but their Ning family must also die. When Ning Daniu saw Yuanjie's eyes, he immediately realized. He gently moved his fingers, and the air condensed into a wind arrow visible to the naked eye, and Ning Yangwei was directly pierced through the chest by a wind arrow, bringing up bursts of red blood flowers. 10,000 arrows through the heart. The screams of pain are endless, and it is really sad for those who hear it. The fierce sun god didn't understand until his death. Why did his ancestor have to shelter that Yuan family kid, and he had the same root in origin as him? Shouldn't he be closer? The last thing he regretted in his life was to sacrifice his ancestors. Although he will also die, but the death is unknown, he is unwilling. Yuanjie felt that the eyes of the ancestor of the Ning family looking at him were a little inexplicable, that is, how to say, slightly ambiguous. Moreover, the ancestor of the Ning family actually gave a ruthless hand to his own people without frowning, which made Yuanjie's expression cold. He saw Ning Daniu walking over step by step, and he subconsciously opened the 6 modes of white eyes. The seal of heaven and earth has been lifted by the other party, and skills can be used. Ning Daniu approached and didn't do anything, just knelt down on one knee. "Minister, the rescue is late, let the Yuanshin suffer, please ask the Yuanshin to surrender." The corners of Yuanjie's mouth tugged. He is not Yuanshan, he is Yuanjie. Ningdaniu said solemnly, no, every heir of the Yuan family is a Yuan god for the guardian family. Yuanjie is very strange, how can he see at a glance that he is the heir of the Yuan family? As Ningdani replied, the Yuan family is invincible to the world with pupil technique, good fellow, so it is. Then his ancestor Yuanjie, Yuanshan is not those legendary eyes? Then why is my sister of the spirit royal lineage? Could it be that she really didn't have any blood relationship with herself? Ningdaniu's figure gradually became illusory, and he sighed, it's a pity, this time in the nether, I didn't bring anything over. Ningdaniu touched his head and asked, does Yuanshan think that the minister was too ruthless just now? Yuanjie didn't speak, but his expression already informed the answer. Because, those who remain here are not concubines, but abandoned sons of God. As soon as these words came out, they shocked the audience. Yuanshan, the minister doesn't have much time left, and he's leaving. You take care. Yuanjie was anxious when he heard this. Brother Niu, don't you leave something down, for example, exercises. Ningdaniu said helplessly, I'm sorry, my cultivation heaven annihilation technique is not worthy of the Yuan family divine son. Ningdaniu's phantom shadow left a sentence before disappearing. Yuanshan, the Ning family of this realm, you can dispose of it casually, without caring about the ministers, since they were abandoned children 800,000 years ago, they will only be abandoned children after 800,000 years, goodbye. With a wave of Ningdaniu's hand, heaven and earth regained their clarity, the traces of the battle just now were repaired, and even the injuries on their bodies were repaired by invisible forces, as if nothing had happened here. The birth of the ancestor of the Ning family brought a lot of information, which Yuanjie couldn't digest for a while. Genshin, guardian family, upper realm, ancestor, Genjia, etc. He closed his eyes and thought for a while, then said, let's go, we're going to speed up. Yes, the wind god replied. The three gods of the academy did not know how brilliant the past of the Yuan family was, but looking at this situation, it seemed that the Yuan family had an extraordinary relationship with that group of families. They had to keep an eye on it. Yuanjie discarded all kinds of messy thoughts in his mind. It's not time to think about the past and the future, we should grasp the present, the future, and leave it to the future. Thinking of this, the Yuan family turned back to the wind god and asked, Brother Hao, do you know which family the royal thunder god belongs to? This, Yao's face turned pale, he really didn't know. Because he never paid attention to that. Tianshan answered, Yuanjie, please rest assured, our academy will definitely investigate clearly. Okay, thanks. Yuanjie's gaze returned to the front again, and from a distance, he could see the towering Jingchang city wall. Go to Bali Middle School first and leave her the opportunity for revenge. However, he suddenly thought of something, and his steps stumbled. It's bad, I already knew that if I let Brother Niu keep people under the knife, I can rob the godhead of the Imperial Thunder God and the Flaming Sun God. Chapter 86. Jingcheng, outside the city gate. What for? A man in purple robes stopped in front of the five with an unkind face. The word rain is embroidered on the robe. The man glanced at the five Yuanjie a little, and when he saw the Taiyan god and the moon dance god behind Yuanjie, his eyes lit up. What a beautiful woman. As for Li Tiansha, he ignored it, although he looks like a country, but the airport, or a plump mature woman has a taste. He smiled, men can roll, women stay. Yuanjie grabbed his neck in an instant, lifted it up, and said with a fierce face, do you have the ability to repeat it again? The man was not afraid at all. I am Jingcheng Gaiyu's family, and you have the ability to do something to me, as you wish. A special vortex appeared above the man's head. Then Yuanjie threw it casually, raised his right foot, and a head suddenly appeared under his feet. He kicked hard, and his head flew to the city wall, bursting with blood mist. Go back and tell your Yu family, if you mess with any Yuanjie, the K family, the Jin family, and the Ning family are the tomorrow of your Yu family. Yuanjie led the others directly into Jingcheng, and no one dared to stop him. Although the Yu family is very large, they are very small, and if they die, they will die, and others will go to eat it most. For the majesty of the family, it is not worth putting your own life on the line. For so many years, it was the first time that someone dared to ignore the three major Yu families so much. The swift wind god sneered, I'm sorry, Yuanjie, we should have made a move just now. Why is the Yu family stationed at the gate of the national capital? What about the national capital? Do you know that if this kind of thing appears in the novel, it will be scolded by readers for being brainless? Yuanjie snorted coldly. Tiangod sighed and shook his head helplessly. I can't blame the national government. The national government army is still stationed outside the border. Yuanjie frowned. Can't free up an army to guard the city gate. There used to be, but it was robbed by the three major families. What about the masters of the national government? 300 years ago, the national government fell more than 80 great generals in the tide of spirit beasts. I blanch. So miserable? It seems that it is really not easy for the national government to survive until now. No wonder they haven't made a move. It turns out that the mud boat Silva crossed the river, and it was really difficult to protect themselves. The power of the family has been cultivating obscurity for so many years, and it secretly develops its strength behind the scenes. However, in order to solve external troubles, the national government continues to fall with the strong. This trade-off has led to the formation of such a deformed situation. Along the way, the three gods of the academy chatted with Yuanjie and them about history. Yuanjie asked, why is the national government so straight? If it's a big deal, it will be rotten, and it will not be kept directly, forcing their family to make a move. But the Tian god replied, it's useless. More than 1,000 years ago, the former royal family did this, and as a result, it was directly changed to a dynasty. Jincheng is adjacent to the border, and the first is the royal palace. The national government army is stationed outside the border, not only for the country, but also for itself. For the family. Even if it is not a royal family, the power is greater than that of your puppet country, and you can take care of things less. Moreover, once a rebel family sits on the throne, it is likely to be besieged by other families. After all, no one wants to be inferior. The Yu family mother, there are untouchables who kill people at the gate of Jingcheng. The head of the Yu family snapped and slapped the table. Who is so bold, dare to provoke our Yu family? A Myaerling woman stood with her head bowed and replied cautiously, it's the academy, and Yuanjie, the head of the Yu family, Yu Huaxu, put away his expression, slowly sat down, and took a sip of tea. It's him, that's all right, the Myaerling woman didn't understand. Yu Huaxu walked down, gently held the hand of the Myaerling woman, pulled her to the side and sat down. She said seriously, Mengan, this Yu family is yours in the future, and my mother wants to tell you a truth. Don't provoke the children of destiny, their vitality is as tenacious as cockroaches, and we can't fight it. Yu Menghan, a Myaerling woman, lowered her head and whispered, Mom, I know, I will surely remember your instructions and make good friends with the children of destiny. Yu Huaxu nodded gratifyingly, leaving Yu Menghan alone in the hall. She took out a photo album, and the album was full of photos that the Yu family secretly sent someone to secretly take photos of Yuanjie. She pursed her lips. Jincheng was too big, and the five of them walked all day to come to the desolate ancient academy. The Tian god and the moon dance god stopped at the door, and they gently held Li Tiansha's little hand to say goodbye. Shallow sister, let's go back to Liudeo Academy first. Remember to come to Liudeo to play with us when you have time. During this journey, they were very impressed by Li Tiansha. Although the other party's physique was extremely poor, their perseverance deeply touched them. You know, during the day to rush, at night Li Tiansha still runs 500 kilometers alone. Such perseverance, they asked themselves, really can't do it. Fortunately, the effort paid off, and the results were good. Li Tiansha became the first student admitted to Aragao Academy with an F-grade physique. Ha ha ha, Yuanjie-san, Shallow-san, you guys are finally here. A hearty laughter sounded, and everyone saw that it was the Azure God and the Earth God King who came over. Yuanjie was nothing. He walked up very naturally to shake hands and say hello. Li Tianshao, on the other hand, was a little shy, and she whispered back, hospital, good Dean. Li Qing laughed, slapped a palm on Li Tianshao's shoulder and said, it's too quiet, it's not young enough at all. Hello Dean, yes, that's it. You are in your youth now, you must maintain the vitality of youth. Li Tian was puzzled, Dean, what is youth? Li Qing showed his white teeth and said, youth is to never retreat, so it will never end. Li Tian thought for a while, looked up and asked, then when you die, isn't youth over? What are you talking about? Li Qing suddenly roared loudly, that's when youth is the climax and burned. Li Tiansha nodded seriously, I know, Dean. Yuanjie, he quietly pulled Li Tiansha aside. He was afraid of being damaged, and he would be young in the future. Okay, let Ahao take you to the dormitory. Are you going to live together? Yuanjie smiled and refused. Don't bother, Dean. Is there an open space in the academy? Although the Earth God King didn't understand why Yuanjie asked this, he pointed to the southeast of the academy and said, there is a large open space there. Thank you. Yuanjie handed over, and then pulled Li Tiansha to the southeast soon. Kamui, a small villa suddenly appeared in front of everyone. They really didn't expect that this kid actually moved his home directly. Chapter 87. Li Tiansha put the things he had worked hard to pack back to his room. Although she was curious about how Brother G moved the whole house intact, everyone had their own secrets, and she didn't ask. Dean, where's Bali Middle School? Li Qing looked at Yuanjie. How? Do you know anyone you know from Bali Middle School? But it's time for summer vacation. It's just time for summer vacation. Yuanjie smiled and did not answer. Li Qing handed him a map, which showed that Bali Middle School was tens of thousands of kilometers away from Huanggu Academy. It's really far away. Jinchang really deserves to be the national capital, and the area is so large. Yuanjie looked at his watch. If you rush over now, it will be at night, and the night is heavy, and it's okay. So he returned to the house, told Li Tiansha that there was no need to prepare his dinner at night, and then ran to No Man's Clearing, turned on the 6 modes, and took off directly. In fact, he also realized that he could fly when he learned Shinra Shinzen, and he blamed himself for not being serious about watching anime at that time. Now with the code of the Cyan Reincarnation I-6 modes, it flies faster. When he finally arrived at Bali Middle School, 2 hours had passed. Bang! Yuanjie supported the ground with his right hand, bent his right leg, and came to a handsome landing pose of Iron Man. He then turned off the 6-channel mode. Since it is summer vacation time, the gate of Bali Middle School is closed. Yuanjie walked step by step without hurry, and when he encountered the heavy iron gate, he actually passed directly through it like a ghost. The school security guard was about to light a cigarette, and when he saw this scene, he was so shocked that the lighter fell. Yuanjie made a silent gesture, activated his right eye, and hypnotized the security illusion. Bali Middle School is very large, hundreds of times larger than Jianghu No. 1 Middle School, and countless tall teaching buildings stand on both sides of the road. Due to the unknown lights, the leaves were blown by a gust of wind and swayed, adding to the eerie atmosphere. The leaves gently swayed from side to side, making a rhythmic sound, as if crying. Yuanjie was not in a hurry to go to the place of the incident. He enjoyed the beautiful scenery of this No. 1 Middle School, known as the No. 1 Middle School of Daksha. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? One after another, weak female voices came from all directions. If you are timid, you will probably be scared to death. However, ordinary people can't hear it, except for the spirit royal physique. There is also Yuanjie holding 6 puppets. Who am I? Yuanjie looked solemn. I am the one who can give you a second life. I don't believe it. A miserable white face suddenly appeared in front of Yuanjie's face, only 1 centimeter away from him. Frightened our brother, he calmly waved his hand, and that face turned into smoke and dispersed. After a very long journey, Yuanjie finally came to the scene where Ning Yaowei, the head of the Ning family, killed 4 people. He crouched down and stroked the dirt on the ground, a little wet, staining his hands red. You're wearing something extraordinary, you must be with them. I'm going to kill you, a tall female ghost said and pounced. Can you talk properly? You can't scare me like this. Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes, and the cyan flame covered his whole body. And no ghost could approach him. Yuanjie said softly, I know, you pretend to be a ghost like this to prevent those people with the spirit imperial physique from taking you in, but you should be able to see that I am not from the spirit imperial physique. When he said this, the yin ki around him became even worse. It's just that there is no longer no soul ki floating at will, and the soul ki gradually condenses into the appearance of a 19-year-old girl. What a beautiful and cute girl, died tragically like this. Yuanjie shook his head and regretted. The 19-year-old girl gently opened her miserable white lips. What's your name? Why come to me? My name is Yuanjie. You should have heard of me. Jiang's pretty face was stunned. How could she have heard of it? At the beginning, the principal arranged for her to join the genius group in order to surpass his beast hunting points. When she knew that the other party was Yuanjie, her face softened. Because she knows that the other party, like her, is a pariah in the eyes of the family. In a sense, they are the same kind of people. You still haven't said what you're here to do. Jiang's voice is very nice and soft. Yuanjie said with a solemn expression, give you a knife, Let you blade those families who indiscriminately kill innocents. I don't care how you kill me, I will bear everything behind you. Jiang's face changed, becoming even more miserable, and she took a few steps back in fear. Yuanjie pressed on step by step, saying sentence by sentence, "Don't you hate? A girl as good as you, who should have a bright future, was personally destroyed by a pair of demonic hands. Are you willing, or do you escape reality, become a homeless, lonely soul and wild ghost who cannot be reincarnated, and once again witness the mutilation of other kinds? Tell me, would you rather be a warrior for a second or a coward for life?" Yuanjie's words were like knives, stinging her heart over and over again. Jiang's white eyes without pupils gradually shed 2 blood tears, and she lowered her head and muttered, "How could I be willing? Woohoo, if there is no Ning family, I can be admitted to the 3 major colleges, and after graduation, I can stay in the academy or join the national army, so that my parents can live a good life. My parents never had to face the lowest with their backs to the sky, they could open a small shop in the town, and they no longer had to go out early and return late. Maybe one day, I will marry a man and form a happy family with him, and from then on I will work and rest in the sun." After a pause, she shouted with all her strength, "It's him, it's them, crushing my dream, I can't wait to smash their corpses with my own hands. However, I am incompetent, I am just a mortal woman, I have witnessed my parents and teachers die tragically for me, and I can't do anything but cry." As he spoke, Jiang squatted down to cover his face and sobbed. Yuanjie stepped forward, squatted down, and comforted softly, "The world is dark, and the heavenly path is dawning. Now, I give you a chance to fight the enemy." Jiang raised her head in confusion, and I saw pity on the face of the pair blossom with rain. "Do you say I still have a chance?" Yuanjie felt that it was time to take out the 6 dolls. "When you enter your soul into this puppet, it will give you the 6 abilities corresponding to your physique before death, making you extremely powerful." When Yuanjie said this, he always felt that he was coaxing the little girl. Jiang stared at the 6 dolls in Yuanjie's hand for a long time. At what cost? The prices. After thinking about it for a long time, Jiang's soul body flew into the 6 puppets. The puppet emitted a blinding light and struggled out of Yuanjie's hands. After a while, the doll gradually changed into Jiang's appearance before his death, with orange-red hair and a black robe of auspicious clouds. The difference is that her eyes have become reincarnation eyes, and she still has a black rod inserted in her body. Jiang looked at his new body and said indifferently, "Even if I can't reincarnate forever, as long as I can blade the enemy, I don't regret it." A lot of information suddenly came to her mind, all about the exercises of the Beast Dao. "I am a beast, specializing in slashing beasts. This is my justice." Chapter 88. Jiang Feng noticed the auspicious cloud-black robe on her body, and she touched it with her hand, and the material was very good. Seeing her doubtful gaze, Yuanjie smiled and said, "This is the uniform clothing of our organization." "What's the name of the organization?" "Zio." Jiang lowered her head, she felt that this name was good. Today's world is full of darkness, ordinary people live in deep water, maybe only Zio can bring them light. "How many people are in our organization now?" Old Yuanji's face turned red, and he said embarrassedly, "Just the 2 of us." Jiang did not dislike, but comforted her softly, "It's okay, there will always be more people." Yuanjie would not tell her, in fact, the Zio organization was only established a minute ago, and if he said this, the pressure would be pulled down. "Let's go, I'll take you back to meet my family." Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes. Jiang smiled sweetly, "Let me come." With that, she quickly froze and then slapped it on the ground. Psychic, the ground was covered with black runes for a moment, and a large bird appeared out of thin air. "Squeak 8 birds," Yuanjie thought, instantly jumped onto the back of the bird, and then pulled Jiang up. The 8 birds screamed and soared into the air, their reincarnation eyes shining with a lilac light in the darkness. There are 6 ways of pain, including the Dao of Heaven, the Dao of Beasts, the Dao of Earth, the Dao of Shiro, the Dao of Hungry Ghosts, and the Dao of Hell. "I am Heavenly Dao, you are Beast Dao, we all have the same name, pain." Jiang nodded understandingly. She was very grateful to Yuanjie in her heart. He gave her the opportunity to be reborn and gave her the strength of the 3rd order of the Great Evening Realm. The Great Evening Realm is a realm that she did not dare to think of before her death. There are countless cultivators and geniuses in the entire Great Xia dynasty, and there are only tens of thousands of people who have the strength of the Great Evening Realm. What made her cry the most was that Yuanjie had the strength of the third order of the realm, but selflessly made her a powerhouse of the great evening realm. Brother Ji's such a good person. On the way back, Yuanjie thought about where he should place the beast Gao Jiang. Or let her live in the Kamui space. Jiang is not a puppet, she has her own independent consciousness, and Yuanjie is worried that if she lives with them, there may be many inconveniences. Shenhui space, Yuanjie looked at the empty inside. Or not? Grab a house to get into? It just so happens that there is a very vast family territory in front of the 8 birds. You wait a minute, I'll go down and help you find a house. After Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes, he instantly turned into a cyan flash and disappeared. Huangfu Ancestral Hall? So this is the Huangfu family? Yuanjie said with a bad smile. It just so happened that when the Huangfu family tried the first time in the secret realm before, they once sent a white-clothed sword, a mortal of the 5th order of the Great Late Realm, to assassinate him. Brother Ji didn't do it, it doesn't mean that he forgot about it. Gift exchange, give you a small gift, no need to thank me. The kaleidoscope pattern of Yuanjie's right eye rotated. In an instant, a tall building covering an area of 5,000 square meters disappeared from the Huangfu family's territory. When the experts of the Huangfu family hurriedly arrived, they only saw bare clearing. There were also scattered ancestral spirit tablets in the clearing, as well as many cracked white jars. Are you special? The head of the Huangfu family was angry, and he didn't mention it in one breath, and fainted. Lack of virtue. It's so immoral. The ancestor of the Wang family, Wang Badian, cursed indignantly. But the smile at the corners of his mouth can't be hidden. After the family spies left, the Wang family council hall suddenly burst into hearty laughter. Ha ha ha, which god man moved the ancestral hall of the Huangfu family in its entirety? The head of the Wang family, who was standing on the side, laughed even louder. Not only that, the ancestral spirit card, as well as the ashes of the first 3 generations of ancestors, have all been raised. The ancestral hall, in the eyes of the family, is a very important place. Just now, Yuanjie flew in the air with long-range divine power, and the guards did not find it. Report. The Huangfu family came. Wang Badian and the head of the Wang family immediately put away their expressions and coughed twice. Please, the elder sent by the Huangfu family is not low status, and he walked in with a sad face. The head of the Wang family hurriedly greeted him, held his hand tightly and said, Mr. Huangfu, hello, visiting my Wang family late at night, is there anything we can help you? The elder of the Huangfu family sat down with a heavy heart. Don't be afraid of what I'm going to say. Wang Badian sat across from him and replied with a solemn expression, we have lived for hundreds of years, we will not be afraid, please say. The elder of the Huangfu family took a breath and said, just now in our family, the ancestral hall was taken away by a mysterious person. Wang Badian and the Wang family master took a deep breath and leaned back tactically. Who is the mysterious man? It's not which one, since it's a mysterious person, we don't know. Elder Huangfu calmed his face. Therefore, our Huangfu family, in the name of the family alliance, has asked your royal family to assist in the investigation. Wang Badian said with regret on his face, Mr. Huangfu, you didn't provide us with any information. This matter is difficult to handle. The head of the Wang family brushed and drew a dog on the paper and picked it up to show Elder Huangfu. Elder Huangfu waved his right hand. It's not a dog, it's a person. The head of the Wang family brushed and drew another picture. It's a mysterious man. Does the mysterious man know? It's not a human-headed dog body you painted. The head of the Wang family couldn't help but laugh out loud for a while. Elder Huangfu was stunned. What are you laughing at? I think of happy things. What happy thing? My wife has a baby. Wang Badian covered his mouth and laughed out loud. Elder Huangfu frowned. What are you laughing at again? My wife too. Wang Badian coughed twice, forcing a smile. Wang Badian changed his sad face, and he said in a deep voice, to get back to business, we can understand your mood at the moment. However, according to the current information of the Saga Alliance Intelligence Organization, Daksha has not been able to achieve such a god-man. The head of the Wang family echoed, I also think that Elder Huangfu should go to the Wind and Rain Tower to inquire, instead of coming to our Wang family. After speaking, the two couldn't hold back again. Hey, you deceive people too much. I have put up with you for a long time. My wife gave birth. You are obviously laughing at our Huangfu family. You haven't stopped. The head of the Wang family straightened his face and said with a serious face, Mr. Huangfu, We have received serious training. No matter how funny it is, we will not laugh unless we can't help it. Wang Badian came out to play the round at this time. It's better like this. Mr. Huangfu, you go back first and wait for news. As soon as we have progress, we will notify you as soon as possible. Elder Huangfu got up, patted his butt and said, okay, you guys hurry up to investigate. Bring more people. Ha 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 ha. Elder Huangfu had just walked out a few steps when he heard loud laughter, and he walked back with a gloomy face. The head of the Wang family and Wang Badian were holding the information with a solemn look at the moment. Mr. Huangfu, do you have anything to add? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Yuanjie didn't know how big a wave he made in the family after he moved the Huangfu Ancestral Hall. However, most of the families couldn't help but laugh out loud, feeling that the Huangfu family deserved it. After all, over the years, Huangfu Gaogayan has been the leader of the family alliance, not only increasing the annual fee of the alliance without authorization every once in a while, but also requiring the materials of the family to pay tribute every year. If it were not for a sense of security, many families would want to withdraw from the so-called alliance. Since the accident of the Jin family, hundreds of thousands of juniors of the Ning family have been killed and left unattended, and some families have successively retreated. Yuanjie sucked Jiang into the divine power space, and Jiang stared blankly at the giant building in front of him. Huangfu Ancestral Hall. Oh, sorry, forgot to throw it. Yuanjie sucked the plaque over, stomped on 2 feet, and then casually threw out the Shenwei space. What he didn't know was that at this time, the 8 birds happened to pass by the Wang family. Wang Badian just happened to pass by. Huh? Looking up, a plaque suddenly appeared on his head. Who is littering? He scolded. As a result, seeing the words on it, he quietly collected all the fragments of the plaque into the space ring. The 8 birds flew very fast, and at 10 o'clock in the evening, they returned to the ancient academy of Iragaku. Li Qing suddenly raised his head, and the power of the divine dragon in his body was ready to strike. When he saw that it was Yuanjie standing on the bird, he went back to his room to sleep. Yuanjie and Jiang jumped down from the 8 birds, and Keqing, who was hiding in the shadows, tightened the sword in his hand. Sister, don't worry, your own people. Keqing stared at Jiang with a solemn face. She is a dead person. She is a spirit object. Jiang's heart trembled. She was worthy of being a genius of the top spiritual imperial physique, and she could see through her details at a glance. Yuanjie smiled. That's right, although Jiang was killed by the head of the Ning family in Bali Middle School some time ago, I gave her body and strength, and she is now a member of the Zio Organization. Zio, Keqing raised his eyebrows. That's right, it's the organization I just founded, a new organization outside the family, the national government, and the academy. As soon as Yuanjie raised his hand, he put on a black robe of Xiangan. To establish a life for the people, to open peace for all generations, and to bring light to the chaotic world. This is Zio. Keqing looked deeply into Yuanjie's eyes for a long time, and finally spoke. Okay, I'll join. Yuanjie was stunned. Sister, aren't you from the academy? Keqing smiled shamefully. Shit academy. Looking ahead, I'm not. That's fine. Yuanjie nodded. Keqing walked up to him, caressed his face and said softly, Brother, when I go back, I will call my 2 girlfriends to join your Zio organization. Okay, really? Yuanjie heard that my sister's girlfriends are all SSS-level geniuses, and with their joining, the strength of this nascent organization has suddenly improved. Yuanjie took out 3 6-way dolls from the system backpack and handed them to her, and said solemnly, Sister, there is something that troubles you. You know more about spiritual objects. You go to find 3 unjust souls with high physique before their death to enter this doll, and the deeper the grudge, the greater the strength. Keqing waited, and then looked up at Jiang, probably knowing something. She bowed her head slightly and turned into the darkness. Jiang, you go in. If you need anything, you can call me in the Shenwei space. Yuanjie pushed open the door of the house and saw Li Tiansha wrapped in a bathrobe sitting on the sofa in the living room watching TV. At a glance, he saw her slender legs, covered with large and small scars. You're back, Yuanjie walked over with a heavy heart and sat beside her. Actually, you don't have to work so hard, I can protect you. Li Tian pursed her lips slightly, and she lowered her head and said, I don't need your protection, I can just do it without holding you back. She raised her head, narrowed her eyes and smiled. Maybe one day, I can still protect you. Yuanjie grabbed her, and after a while, Li Tiansha broke free. She blushed and said, Brother Ji, we are not on that kind of relationship now. I always hope that we can keep our distance. From family to lover, Li Tiansha can't do it in a short time. She has never been in a relationship, and she does not know what is like and what love is. She didn't know exactly what her feelings for Brother Jay were. With this in mind, she ran back to the room and closed the door. Li Tiansha leaned against the door and gradually slumped, and she gasped with a red face. Yuanjie's intimate behavior just now made her heart beat faster. She admitted that she had fewer nightmares at night recently, and there were many more figures of Brother Ji, but she didn't know if it was that kind of feeling. One night without a word. The next morning, Yuanjie and Li Tiansha went to the scenic area to buy some daily necessities. Jincheng is very large, gathering large merchants from all over the country, which can be described as everything. However, large supermarkets and markets have been absorbed by the family, of which the main commercial Yuanjie is the largest. Hello, a total of 15.8 gold spirit coins, the waiter said with a smile. Yuanjie was stunned. They didn't seem to buy much. Why was it so expensive? Li Tiansha silently took out his small wallet and handed it to the other party. Wait a minute, a gentle female voice sounded. When the waiter saw the comer, he bowed and saluted. Hello miss, the woman is very beautiful. The most important thing is temperament, there's a beautiful grace. The woman smiled lightly and stretched out her hand. Hello, classmate Yuanjie. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Yu Menghan. Yu Menghan? Rain family? Yuanjie frowned. Yu Menghan didn't care about his expression in the slightest, and she turned around and shook Li Tian's hand slightly. She smiled and said, your girlfriend is so beautiful, and her skin is so good. This sentence made Li Tiansha's face blush, and she whispered back, I'm not his girlfriend, I'm just his sister. Yu Menghan covered her red lips in surprise. Oh, I'm sorry, don't mind her. When she said this, she looked at Yuanjie and said, this woman can really talk and reach out not to hit the smiling person. Yuanjie smiled and waved his hand. It's okay, I don't mind. I like what you call her, is it? I'm older than you, so I'll not shout my brother and sister shamelessly. Yu Menghan chuckled. Li Tiansha's face was so red that he could almost pinch out the water. Then, Yu Menghan said to Yuanjie with an apologetic face, Yuanjie, yesterday it was our Yu family who had no eyes and disturbed you. Please forgive me, be careful, but please accept it. Yuanjie secretly opened his eyes and found that there was a check for 500,000 gold spirit coins inside. I'm blanching, what a big hand. Is the Yu family so sensible? Yu Menghan saw that Yuanjie was still hesitating, and she continued, our Yu family has been good for generations, never participated in struggles, and devoted ourselves to business. If you don't believe me, ask someone else. Yuanjie remained skeptical. He could sit on the chairs of the three major families, and there was no shady business behind his back. He didn't believe it. However, since the property sent to the door, do not take it for nothing. Yesterday we disciplined people improperly, please forgive me. Yu Menghan bowed deeply, revealing a large ravine. Yuanjie smiled and said, good to say. Yu Menghan seemed relieved, and she smiled. Regarding the subordinates guarding the city gate, we have changed a new batch. If you are free, you are welcome to come and supervise at any time. Yuanjie nodded lightly, put all the purchased things into the space ring. The waiter saw that the other party knew the eldest lady of the Yu family. Where did he dare to collect money? Yu Menghan looked at Yuanjie's departing back, and his eyes gradually deepened. Chapter 90. What? Is the Yu family really that good? After Yuanjie returned to the desolate ancient academy, he immediately came to the dean's office. Li Qing said in a deep voice, this is indeed the case. The Yu family has a really good image in the hearts of the people, and the cheers are the highest when natural disasters struck. Every time the Yu family came out for disaster relief for the first time, and solved the difficulties in the lives of the victims out of their own pockets. Moreover, the shopping mall of the Yu family, Tuangzhou, is not deceptive. The price is fair. Once someone complains, no matter what the identity of the person complaining is, they will immediately investigate and deal with it, and never tolerate it. The most important thing is that the Yu family has donated no less than 1 million hope schools in Daxia, and has established many welfare homes. Even we can't fault them. Yuanjie was stunned for a moment, and he couldn't imagine that the Yu family seemed to be a clear stream in the family alliance. But why can you still be the three major families? Li Qing gave the answer, because the god of the Yu family is the only high-ranking god, top 10, with an SSS-level physique in existence. His combat strength alone can top 3 top 10 gods. Note, Yuanjie god is only ranked 32, therefore, even the Huangfu family and the Wang family dare not easily say anything about the Yu family's outrageous behavior. Yuanjie captured the key point. Wait a minute, is that strong man of the Yu family surnamed Yu? Yuanjie remembered what he encountered yesterday at the Jingchang city gate. Li Qing sighed and replied, the Yu family's notice said that that person is only a temporary worker. After the investigation of our college, it is true, but a little son from the Yu family came to experience life. Temp workers? It's the temporary workers again. Let's talk about it. Yuanjie turned into a golden flash and left. Li Qing picked up the pen and gently wrote on the paper what the Yu family had done for thousands of years, and he couldn't help but frown. The Yu family, it is indeed flawless, but why do they do this? After Yuanjie returned home, he lay on the bed thinking. The strongman of the Yu family is actually an SSS-level genius? Doesn't it mean that only the descendants of the immortal human body have the opportunity to give birth to SSS-level heirs? The question is, the Yu family is not from the 12 guardian families. Where did they get the immortal body? Yuanjie then shook his head. In the era of Emperor Fall, the immortal body was not necessarily unique to the Yuan family and the 12 guardian families, and he fell into a misunderstanding. Moreover, since the words of the Ning family's Li Tiansha before his death, his father Ning's family did not participate in the siege. Now Yuanjie gradually disbelieved what the head of the K family said. From the Shenhui space, he took out the ancient book and looked it up, but did not find any information about the Yu family Ding. It has been detected that the host's current cultivation has reached the 3rd level of the fusion realm, and new functions have been unlocked. A female voice suddenly sounded in Yuanjie's mind, and he was stunned. Just after purchasing the Great Gift Pack last time, he drank 1,000 bottles of Great Cultivation Experience Potion at one time, and his cultivation had reached the 3rd order. He couldn't understand why the beast Dao Jiang was the 3rd order of the Great Late Realm, and he had one more big realm than himself. Is it the system settings? He entered the system backpack, took out the remaining 6 dolls and looked closely, and suddenly found a line of small words engraved under his butt. 6 puppets. The strength is forever higher than the host, and it will increase as the host's strength increases. Yuanjie put away his thoughts, and he asked the system, what is the new feature? New feature 1. In order to alleviate the current situation of the host's difficulty in obtaining divine skills, open the divine skill recruitment mall, and the host can use gold spirit coins to purchase recruitment coupons and extract divine skill fragments for synthesis. New feature 2. Detecting that the host's strength has increased too slowly, the sweep function is now open, and the host can purchase the Vitality Automatic Sweep every day. So as to obtain a large amount of spiritual power pool experience points. Are you special? The corners of Yuanjie's mouth tugged. Didn't he have the function of being able to prostitute for nothing? Full of money. The dog system dropped the money system. You can draw for free in the Divine Skill Recruitment Mall every day, and there are 120 vitality gifts every day. Are I talking about white like you? Measure the mud horse. Yuanjie scolded, and now he added the 500,000 gold spirit coins sent by Yu Menghen just now, for a total of 800,000 gold spirit coins. I don't know if the Divine Skill Recruitment Mall is pitted, the system chuckled. If you don't pit it, you will give a guarantee every time you go for 10 consecutive years. After Yuanjie opened the Divine Skill Recruitment Mall, he saw that there were 3 different grades of divine skill fragments that could be recruited inside. They are blue, low-level ninjutsu that can be synthesized into the art of How Fireball. Purple. 50 fragments combined into one, illusion chest. Gold. 100 fragments are combined into, optional leapfrog divine skill chest, or, optional divine skill chest. 16 pieces of 8 gold spirit coins are drawn once, and 168 gold spirit coins are required for 10 consecutive times, and you can recruit up to 30 times a day. Yuanjie went to wash his hands first, and spent 504 gold spirit coins to buy 30 recruitment tickets. It's a pity that this world doesn't have the lottery Divine Comedy Good Luck Comes. Yuanjie did not hesitate and directly clicked on the 10 consecutive recruitment. After a burst of golden light. You're special. Why is there only 1 golden fragment? Only 3 purple fragments? Yuanjie yelled at the dog system, Is this what you call a guarantee? The system curled up in a corner and covered its ears, afraid to speak. Yuanjie drew the remaining times, a total of 7 golden fragments, 1 plus 1 plus 5, 5 purple fragments, and blue fragments that he didn't want to count. It seems that he has earned, after all, the golden fragment is more than the purple fragment. Yuanjie said with a dark face and a deep voice, "System, may I ask if you are surnamed Ma?" The system's eyes widened, and his expression froze. "How do you know?" Sure enough, Yuanjie calmed down and clicked on the sweeping function. He didn't think much, he directly bought the vitality that could be purchased every day, a total of 3 times, each time increasing the vitality by 20 points. Using 10 plus 20 plus 30 gold spirit coins respectively. The automatic sweep takes 12 hours to collect the dishes, and Yuanjie doesn't know how much spiritual power can be improved for the time being. Late at night, 4 petite figures suddenly appeared at the gate of the desolate ancient academy. "Keking, what are you looking for us for?" A little lolly dressed as a zombie is bouncing. "You must accomplish what a mother of God commands." Keking's tone was undoubted. The others immediately put away their laughing expressions. "This is the 6 puppets of the Lord. You go and collect the unjust souls of the genius physique of SS level or above, and do everything to make them enter here willingly. Kiki, Ganayu and Kamisato Ayaka, you all act separately. Each person carries a 6-path doll. Go back quickly." Chapter 91. Yuanjie yesterday, he probed the place where the high-level physique genius died and marked it. When the time comes, they can go directly over, and there is no need to waste time looking for it. The little zombie Kiki is teleported to an abandoned factory, and she walks aimlessly inside. "Well, by the way, what am I here for?" Kiki stared around with wide eyes in confusion. At this time, a shadow appeared behind Kiki. She leaned over and touched Kiki's little zombie hat, and said with a smile, "What a cute little sister." "Big sister is good," Kiki answered obediently. "What are you doing here?" Sorry, I forgot." "You wait," Kiki said and took out a notebook. She rummaged through several pages before she saw a few crooked words written on it. "Seeking, high physique, grudges, income dolls." Kiki honestly told the other party the purpose of her coming here. The woman's figure was illusory, and she gradually retreated with a cautious look. "Big sister, your name is Dongyu. According to the data, your physique is SS level, and you are born with a huge amount of spiritual power in your body, but you can't use it for yourself. Your physique belongs to the best furnace in nature, and you escaped when you discovered it by the son of the Zhou family, tried to misbehave. When you go back, you resolutely give yourself to your boyfriend who has been in love for 3 years, and his boyfriend's cultivation has advanced by leaps and bounds, but in the end, he abandoned you and turned back to marry another family woman. You chose to jump into the furnace when everything was in ashes." The female ghost covered her ears and screamed in pain. "No, don't say any more, please, don't say any more." Kiki approached her step by step and tugged at the corners of her clothes. "Sister, that scumbag made your life like this. Don't you want revenge?" The female ghost Dongyu was stunned. She had already despaired of life from the moment she jumped. She thought she had already let go of everything, but when the old things were brought up, she knew that she couldn't let go at all. What she couldn't bear the most was that her boyfriend who had been in love for 3 years turned out to be pretending. In order to get close to himself and get his own body, he pretended to be a secular person, but he was actually the 5th son of the Zhou family in Jingcheng. What she didn't expect the most was that the Zhou family's misbehaving against herself was actually secretly arranged by him, and then tricked her body with clever words, and kicked it away with a last kick. What a terrible scheming. Sometimes, she would rather he possess herself by forceful means than deceive and play with her feelings. "Do I really have a chance to take revenge?" Dongyu trembled, and her fingers pinched the flesh. "Yes, as long as you are willing to enter this puppet, you can have infinite power." "Good." Dongyu didn't even think about it, and directly floated his soul into the 6 dolls. On the other side, Ganyu froze a spirit body 3,000 miles outside Jingcheng City. She took the bow and gently tapped it on the ice crystal and grinned. "Finally, I will ask you again, can you enter? If you don't enter, die. I still have spare candidates anyway." Compared to death, the female ghost is more afraid of being caught by the messenger of hell, and with the bad things she did in her lifetime, there is no problem in entering the 18th floor. Kamisato Ayato walked into a mass grave. He squinted and stretched. "I have to finish the task quickly. Go back and chat with Ling Hui. She has always wanted to follow me just now." There should be many homeless lonely ghosts in the mass grave, but strangely, It is a little quiet here. While Kamisato Ayato was thinking, a huge ghost shadow rushed towards him. He looks terrifying with 3 heads and 6 arms. Boy, what are you doing? The 3 heads have 3 faces each, and each face has a different mood. Each of the 6 arms wields a different weapon. Kamisato Ayato's eyes froze, and the object he was looking for this time did not seem to be very good to talk to. Boy, I ask you again, what are you doing here? If it weren't for seeing that Kamisato Ayato was a spirit like him, he would have killed him earlier. Li Wenyu, he was a second-order figure in the Great Late Realm before his death, and under your leadership, the Li family's industry is thriving. The huge ghost frowned. He didn't know how the other party knew his details, but he didn't act rashly. He wanted to hear what else Kamisato Ayato knew. However, because your business is getting bigger and bigger, you are targeted by the family, and it is difficult at every turn. You went to the Hong family to ask for an explanation, and you were ambushed to death, and soon after, your Li family perish, the giant ghost roared. There shouldn't be a second person to know these things besides him. Kamisato Ayato's words brought back his sad memories. Stinky boy, do you know what you're talking about? Li Wenyu rushed to him with a hideous face, opening his teeth and dancing his claws. Kamisato Ayato chuckled. It seems that you have forgotten your hatred and are willing to be king and a local imp. Li Wenyu slashed up with an angry knife. Kamisato Ayato just looked at him lightly and did not resist. Ding, the blade can't advance by half a point. Li Wenyu's eyes shrank. Who the hell are you? Kamisato Ayato pulled out a knife and cut off one of the opponent's arms. It's useless. Your spirit level is too low to hurt me, but I can easily kill you. Li Wenyu suddenly thought of something, and he took a few steps back. Why? I'm all ghostly, and your Hong family still won't let me go? Kamisato Ayato put the knife into its sheath and said indifferently, no, it should be that you let yourself go. You have compromised with fate, and the years have smoothed your corners, so that you no longer have the courage to seek revenge on the Hong family. You are really a coward. You actually chose to hide here and occupy the mountain as king. Kamisato Ayato's words stabbed into Li Wenyu's heart one by one, and it hurt. Did he think about revenge? But how to report? The other party is the Hong family of the top 10 families in Jingcheng. He can't even enter the Hong family's door. How can he talk about revenge? Li Wenyu's 3 heads licked his lips at the same time, and said fiercely, I'll kill you first. Let you see if I have a courage. 5 arms slashed at Ayato Kamisato, but they were bounced away. How so? Li Wenyu was shocked. He knew that the other party's level was very high, but he didn't expect that he couldn't even score half a meter in front of people. Kamisato Ryu Mizuki, centered on Ayato Kamisato, a large area of continuous water sword rainfall. Wait a minute. Have something to say. Don't do it. With a wave of the sword in Kamisato's hand, the surrounding environment seemed to be static, and the water sword was stuck in the air, not advancing for half a minute. What the hell do you want me to do? Li Wenyu saw that the other party was not the Hong family. The Hong family was mainly cultivating fire, and it was impossible for someone to attack with a water element. Kamisato Ayato gradually approached and raised her head to look at him. It's not how I want you to do it, it's whether you want to do it or not. Now there is a chance for you to take revenge. Pick up, or don't pick up. Chapter 92. The corner of Li Wenyu's right face's mouth tugged, and the other party's strength caught him off guard. Does he still have a choice now? If you don't accept it, it is estimated that you will be killed in the next second. Acceptance, there is still a silver lining. I accept. Kamisato Ayato took out the 6 dolls. Li Wenyu stared at his knife, swallowed his saliva, and then turned and flew into the 6 dolls. The 6 puppets not only give him great power. The most important thing is that it can arouse all the resentment of the soul body before its life and intensify its past pain by 1,000 times. Originally, Li Wenyu's entry into the 6 Dao puppets was just a stopgap measure. When he fused with the 6 puppets, the hatred for the Hong family in his heart surged like a tide. He moved this mechanical body and clenched his fists. The family, the Hong family, didn't expect it? Li Wenyu, are back. The hatred of killing and exterminating the clan that day, I will repay it 100 times in the future. Ha 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 ha. 77, Kimitsu, and Kamisato Ayato completed their mission gloriously, and they returned to the Aragao Academy with the 3 dolls who had become pain. Yuanjie was woken up, and he walked out with confused eyes. When he saw a huge body, he immediately became energetic. I'm Zhou, Something bad? Why did you recruit Kag? When Kag saw Yuanjie, she gritted her teeth. All her pain was caused by this man. She shouted loudly and killed towards Yuanjie. She awakens the path of hell and summons the psychic Hades king. The prison king opened his mouth wide and stretched out a pair of hands from it. Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes and slapped a palm on Kag's chest. Her soul was forced to separate. Kiki, Ganayu, Kamisato Ayato, and Keking immediately tied her up. Yuanjie, you destroyed my K family. I'm going to kill you, Kag scolded viciously. Yuanjie smiled and said, I ruined your K family? But how many families have your K family ruined? I don't care about the others, I just know that you destroyed our K family. Yuanjie grabbed her neck and looked indifferent. You said you don't care. He casually threw Kag's soul body in front of the prison king. Say, how did you come to Jingcheng? Kag replied with a gloomy face. That day, I led the head of the family over, and I ran. When I ran 10,000 miles, I heard that the K family was gone. And how did you die? I seduced a family man on the road, but I didn't expect that he turned out to be the god of the royal family, and he found my true face in bed. Then I was killed. Oh, you're lying? At this time, the prison king opened his mouth and stretched out several long tongues with hands. Kag suddenly found that her tongue was sticking out automatically uncontrollably. Woo, can you let me go? Phew. Kag lisped for help. Yuanjie shook his head and smiled disdainfully. You have obviously awakened the ability of the Heldeo. You actually dare to lie. I don't know what you think. The pain of pulling out the tongue and plowing is not so good. After a while, Kag passed out. Yuanjie looked at the fat pig's body in disgust, and a heavenly insolation burned it out. Forget it, I'll have to trouble you to find another one later. Ganyu lowered his head in shame, but he didn't expect that he actually found the Lord's enemy. She apologized stickily. I'm sorry, master, it was me who was wrong. Yuanjie waved his hand indifferently. It's okay, you guys have also helped me a lot. Hard work. Yuanjie picked up the 6 dolls from the ground, and after Kag's soul body went out, he retransformed into the shape of a doll. Keking took his leave with the 3 of them, and the door of the villa was clean again. Yuanjie sat down. He stared at a woman and asked, Are you back to Heavenly Deo? My name in my previous life was Dalyu, and I am now a hungry ghost Deo? Yuanjie nodded, and he turned his head to look at the tall man. You should be Azure Deo, right? Azure bowed and saluted. Yes, that's right. My name is Li Wenyu. Then you guys enter the Kamui space. Jiang did not rest. She looked at the villain book in the ancestral hall, and suddenly found that there were 2 more partners, and one was actually a beautiful sister. This is, Yuanjie introduced one by one, Hungry Ghost Deo Dongyu, Azure Deo Li Wenyu, you know each other and will be teammates from now on. Yuanjie left a sentence and just wanted to leave, but the Hungry Ghost Deo Dongyu called out to him. May I ask Cheyenne Deo, when will you attack the Zhou family? The Zhou family? Yuanjie didn't know about Dongyu and Li Wenyu, and Keking didn't tell him. It seems to have left a note, but he has not yet had time to read it. Yuanjie shook his head and said, Don't worry, come one by one. Tomorrow, invade the Ning family. Zio's first battle is about to begin. After Jiang heard this, his little hand clenched up, and his expression was very excited. Mom and Dad, and Teacher Su, I can finally avenge you. Yuanjie left the Shinwei space, took out the note left by Keking and read it, and then burned it to ashes with Amaterasu. The Ning family, the Zhou family, and the Hong family, 2 new enemies have come, and there is work to do. Although the Zhou family and the Hong family did not provoke him now, did they need a reason to destroy a family? It doesn't seem to be needed, right? It doesn't matter if you say it's good or evil. Everything from the heart. The next day, Yuanjie found Keking and used her body to talk to her sister. Sister, do you know an acquaintance from Feng Yulao, Wind and Rain Building? Isn't that exactly what my girlfriend's house opened? Such a coincidence? What are you looking for Wind and Rain Building? Keking asked strangely. Investigate the Zhou family and the Hong family. Keking nodded. Okay, I'll go back and let my girlfriend check it. Yuanjie asked nervously. You won't ask for money, right? Since the dog system came out with a divine skill recruitment mall and the sweeping function, he now spends 600 or 700 gold spirit coins a day. Don't look at his wallet bulging now, but I don't know how long he can hold out. He was a little scared. Wait for the dog system to come out with a holiday package to pit him. After all, the Mid-Autumn Festival is still more than 2 months away. Sister, Let's go to Ning's house to watch a play tomorrow. Keqing stared at him with interest and asked, are you ready to start? Indeed, after letting them survive for so long, I am afraid that they have forgotten how to write dead words. Okay, what time is tomorrow? At 10 o'clock in the morning. Start the plan to destroy the Ning family. The Ning family is now an empty shell, and the only one with the highest cultivation is Ning Yaowei, the head of the Ning family. The third order of the Great Evening Realm. The Flaming Sun God and the Demigod both fell a few days ago, but they didn't expect that Ning Jiren could still hold his breath. Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes and flew into the air with a puff of smoke. He came to the sky above the Ning family's territory and looked down at the people coming and going in the Ning mansion. Zio's prestige, then start with the Ning family. Chapter 93. Father, Mother, my daughter is now a master of the Great Evening Realm, and she can finally avenge you. The rain of July came quickly and receded silently. After the rain, the valley in the wilderness was exceptionally quiet, and only 1 or 2 sobs were heard. At 8 o'clock, Jiang came to his parents' crown grave. Her neighbors helped them erect the tombstone, and next to her parents' tombstone is her tombstone. It is impressively engraved. Since ancient times, the red face has been a thin life, and it has never been a fairy, lion who person Jiang. She buried her favorite hairpin that she had brought home just now in a grave bag that belonged to Jiang. From today on, she will no longer be Jiang, but a beast. At the bottom of the mountain, there is a simple family of people, carrying the sacrifice and climbing up. The oncoming purple sun made Aunt May want to move. But she wasn't sure if it was, so she ran up and looked. Aunt May excitedly held Jiang's hand. Jiang, you are not dead. God has eyes, that's great. A trace of struggle flashed in Jiang's eyes, and she replied lightly, I'm sorry, you recognized the wrong person. Aunt May stood in place at a loss, and Yuanjie and pain passed by her. Until she walked away, she muttered, that's right, in addition to the different hair color, there is also a face. Thinking of this, her pupils contracted. Aunt May's husband put the sacrifice down and found that someone seemed to have worshipped the sacrifice just now, and he was stunned. He looked back. Where was Jiang's figure? Wife, wouldn't that have been just now? Aunt May waved her hand and said, how is it possible? You read it wrong. Aunt May, she is the good person who helped my parents stand up. On the way to Ning's house, Jiang's voice came out leisurely. Then, she spoke peacefully about her past. Her father suffers from leg problems and cannot do heavy work, and her mother is deaf in hearing. Her parents pulled her into adulthood with a handful of blood and sweat, and on the way to growth, she was helped by her neighbor Aunt May. Maybe God opened her eyes. When the senior third physique awakened, she turned out to be an SS-level physique, and the school gave a large bonus. Poor families who could not open the pot finally had hope. Before he died, the house that his father had asked someone to build had not yet been roofed, and when the workers learned that something had happened to their family, they fled one after another, not even paying for fear of being involved. Fortunately, the Ning family did not poison Aunt May, otherwise, she would have felt guilty for the rest of her life. The Ning family is located in the southwest of Jingcheng, and the big bird passes by the Yu family, and the master of the Yu family knows it as soon as possible, and passes the picture to the head of the family. Yu Huaxia opened the map and immediately guessed what the other party wanted to do. Meng Han, you take a few people to Ningfu, remember to bring fruits and melon seeds and other small snacks over. By the way, don't forget the mineral water, they will definitely be tired and thirsty when they kill, and they can't let the strong man work hard. The 8 birds soon came to the sky above Ningfu, and Jiang glanced at Yuanjie. After seeing him nod, Jiang jumped down from the 8 birds, clasped his hands together and put his fingers together, passing through the layers of defensive arrays in the Ning family's territory. A master of Ningfu sensed the strange situation and looked up at the sky. Poof! After Jiang fell to the roof of a room, he slapped his hands on the ground, and 4 people suddenly appeared behind him. They are Yuanjie, Yuanjie, Hungry Ghost Dao, and Azura Dao. Scatter! The 5 flashed in different directions. Azura Dao Li Wenyu jumped into an uninhabited alley, rolled the sleeve of his robe, and ripped his right hand away. Okay, let you feel the justice of Zio's heaven. The corner of Azura Dao's mouth hooked an arc, raised his right hand above his head, and launched dozens of missiles from the broken wrist, firing the first shot of invading the Ning family. The Ning family on the street looked up blankly, watching the missiles fly in front of them. Before they could make a sound, a huge explosion drowned them in the fire. Enemy attack! Ningfu instantly raised the alarm, and the armed forces quickly assembled. On the other side, Dongyu, the hungry ghost Dao, twisted his graceful posture and walked step by step into the eyes of the Ning family's defensive array. "Who are you?" The master of the Ning family saw a tall woman wearing a black robe of auspicious clouds enter the forbidden land of the Ning family. Seeing that the woman was unmoved, the master of the Ning family directly charged up and threw a punch, and the fist was shivering, turning into an energy wave visible to the naked eye and striking towards the hungry ghost Dao. Hungry ghost Dao slowly raised his right hand, and the energy wave couldn't advance by half a minute. A moment later, all the energy waves were absorbed by the hungry ghost Dao. "Is that all you can do?" A black rod stretched out from the sleeve of his right hand, and instantly stabbed into the chest of the other party. Her eyes were purple at this time, licked the blood splattered to her lips, and sneered. "The smell of the blood of the Ning family is as fishy as the Zhou family. It seems that you are all the same kind of people." The hungry ghost Dao walked towards the Ning family's defensive array, and on the array, there was a huge and incomparably high-level spirit stone. She crossed a barrier and placed it on the surface of the spirit stone. The surging spiritual power continued to enter her body, making her tremble. "Stop! Who are you? What are you doing?" Outside the door, hundreds of warriors appeared, armed with various weapons, rushing towards the hungry ghost road. Shinra heavenly sign, a storm of repulsion bounced them off and slammed them into the wall, unknown whether they were alive or dead. Hungry ghost Dao Dongyu looked sideways, and silently said in his heart, "Thank you, Lord Xiandao, no thanks, when it's time to strike, I will naturally strike." Saying that, Yuanjie took out 2 shaky rattan chairs and a coffee table from the Shenwei space. "Sister, sit." This time it was not Keking's body, but Yuanjie herself, except that she was wearing a veil and could not see her true face. "Sister, why are you wearing a veil? What about good trust between people?" Yuanjie's red lips pursed under the veil, and she replied softly, "Haven't you seen it earlier? 5 years have gone, as the saying goes, the female university has changed 18, Yuanjie said with a smile. Yuanjie raised his eyebrows, his beautiful eyes flowed, and he looked at him with a smile in his eyes. "How? Have an idea for your sister?" Yuanjie's expression froze, and then he shook his head. "That's not true." Yuanjie covered her mouth and chuckled. She turned around, originally thinking that there was still a chance to do it. "I didn't expect to say that I was watching a play, but I really came to see a play. Pain 3 Dao is enough to destroy the current Ning family. If there is another puppet like the K family, we will do it again." Yuanjie lay down comfortably, his right foot a little, and shook it. At this time, the light curtain surrounding Ningfu gradually turned into starlight and dispersed, and the defense array failed. Beast Dao Jiang quickly froze, and slapped his right hand on the ground. Psychic, Hell Crab, Rhinoceros, Centipede, Hell 3-headed Dog, a giant monster appeared in the territory of the Ning family. My god, how can there be so many spirit beasts? Damn it! Why didn't the rice buckets of the national government and the academy hold the border? It's over, it's all going to be over. Chapter 94. Bang! A huge centipede, a tail smashed a tall building in Ningfu, and groups of Ning family members who were frantically fleeing poured out from under the building. Tall buildings collapsed towards the most crowded places, crushing ants to the ground and stirring up huge amounts of dust. The centipede tail swept across again, causing intense damage to the houses next to it. The rhinoceros went on a rampage, staring at wherever there were many people, its giant hooves stained with blood, trampling a scarlet blood road. The 3-headed dog of hell ran quickly, rushed into the armed forces, and gnawed the warriors inside. Blood and stump flew around, mixed with white marrow, and stained the mouth of the 3-headed dog of hell. Jiang stood on top of the rhinoceros's head and watched all this indifferently. "Oh my god, did anyone come and save us? I don't want to die." What about the other families? And the Confederate army? Quick! Get out of the territory." Yuanjie and Yuanyi were sitting on the archway of Ningfu and saw a large group of people who wanted to rush out of the territory. Yuanji's right eye activated, Amaterasu burned in front of the door, and soon, Amaterasu spread along the city wall of Ningfu. Catch turtles in an urn. The Ning family, who were cut off by Amaterasu, felt the hot aura of the black flame and couldn't help but take a few steps back. "Those who are not afraid of death can rush up." Yuanjie spat out a melon seed shell and said lightly. "Just now, Yu Menghen brought a few guards of the Yu family to the gate of Ningfu. When she saw several huge spirit beasts suddenly appear on Ning's mansion, and the endless sound of bombing, her pupils shrank. Yuanjie, you have worked hard. I specially sent you all kinds of fruits and snacks. Yuanjie was familiar with herself, smiled slightly, and consciously walked up. A woman dressed in a black tights and a white veil held a knife and blocked her front. Sister, let her come. Yuanjie rolled his eyes, and after hesitating for a moment, he put down the knife. Yuanjie twisted the fat porpoise and walked over step by step, and she ordered the Yu family guards to move everything over. Then he took matters into his own hands, arranged the fruits, melon seeds, and candy cakes on the plate, and respectfully placed them on the coffee table between Yuanjie and Yuanjie. I'm sorry, Miss Rain, I didn't prepare your chair. Yuanjie didn't care. She smiled sweetly. It's okay, I brought my own. After that, a small bench appeared in front of the coffee table, and she sat opposite Yuanjie. Miss Rain, don't you watch the play? This kind of murderous scene, the little woman can't see it. Then if you sit in the position of the head of the Yu family in the future, I am very worried. Yuanjie's eyes froze. It seemed that her details had been penetrated by him. Yuanjie turned his head curiously to look at the battlefield, and soon found that there were 3 black-robed figures wearing the same auspicious clouds as Yuanjie were shuttling. She asked curiously, Yuanjie, who is the person inside? Yuanjie said in an icy tone, there are some things you better not ask. The more you know, the faster you will die. Yuanjie gently patted Yuanjie's hand and persuaded, hey, sister, it's okay to tell her. He sat up, his face gradually approaching Yuanjie's pretty face, and his voice was low. Those 3 people are members of the Zio organization I established. Are you interested in joining? The oncoming masculine aura made Yuanjie confused. Her eyes kept rolling, and her cheeks were crimson. Really? Can I join too? Fake. Yuanjie sat up and continued to lie down, his expression cold. Since Yuanjie blocked the road with Xianxiao, the Ning family was suddenly at a loss. If you can't run and can't run, can't you go back and be beaten? There are those who are not afraid of death who have tried to break through Amaterasu, but before they took 2 steps, they were turned into slag by black flames. At this time, a loud noise attracted the Ning family, who were still hesitating. A giant centipede crashed to the ground, struggled a few times and then stopped moving, turning into a puff of smoke and dispersing. It's the flaming sun god. The flaming sun god came to our rescue. It's not the flaming sun god, it seems to be the head of the family. That's right, the family master led the family's great evening realm masters over. Ning Yaowei's punch inspired all the Ning family. Our Ning family, but a strong family with a 1,000,000-year-old heritage, although it is no longer brilliant, it will not fall so easily. Are you? Ning Yaowei saw the woman standing on top of the rhinoceros's head at a glance, and he frowned. He didn't know the name of the other party, and the ants killed when they killed, and there was no need to know which ant it was. That's right, it's me. After getting an affirmative reply, Ning Yaowei's pupils shrank. How could it be? Wasn't she pinched to death by her own hands, and exploded into blood mist, and there were no bones left? Didn't expect that, did you? Zhang sneered, and with her order, all the psychic objects that were destroyed elsewhere gathered around her. Ning Yaowei took a deep breath. Although I don't know how you were resurrected, since I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. Yes, Beast Gao Zhang burst out with momentum on his body. The third order of the Great Evening Realm. Ning Yaowei's eyes froze, and he was actually as high as his own cultivation. He turned his head sideways and said to the other Great Evening Realm masters in the family, you guys go to solve the other 2 in a batch, and the others go to the door to see what's going on. This person, just leave it to me. Multiplication technique. Ning Yaowei's body swelled. Strange that the clothes were not broken. Presumably the material must be very good. His daughter is Ninglu, and Ninglu inherited his physique. It's just that their multiplication technique is flawed, and they can only be giantized to a height of 20 meters at most. He instantly turned into a 20-meter giant, as tall as a psychic rhinoceros. Ning Yaowei made a move without hesitation. I saw that his 2 hands quickly grabbed one of the horns of the rhinoceros. Seeing this, Zhang summoned the 8 birds, and she jumped onto the back of the bird. The rhinoceros's 4 thick legs kept pedaling back, trying to break through Ning Yaowei's restraints. At the same time, the 3-headed dog of hell strikes, jumps up and bites his hand. Ning Yaowei first slapped the 3-headed dog of hell into the air. Then with force, dragged the rhino over. Click. The horn of the rhinoceros was actually cut off alive. Black blood spilled over his head. Ning Yaowei looked up to the sky and laughed maniacally. Ha ha ha, but so, who knows? When he was screaming, the hell crab came over and clamped his leg with a pincer. I blanch. Engage in sneak attacks, you can't afford to play. He kicked his right leg hard, trying to kick the hell crab away. And at this time, another centipede entangled his left leg. The rhinoceros was puffing out a rough breath, his right hind leg was pedaling, and he roared, and slammed straight into the chest of Ning Yaowei, the head of the Ning family who was restrained. Poof, Ning Yaowei's huge body crashed to the ground, flattening a large area of the building. Chapter 95. At the door, 7 or 8 Ning family masters of the First Order of the Great Evening Realm arrived. They looked up and saw Yuanjie, Yuanjie, and one. It turned out to be someone from the Yu family. Yu family, as the 3 major families of the Family Alliance, you actually colluded with the enemy? Attack our Ning family? One of the Ning family masters roared with a gloomy face. Don't get me wrong, I'm not familiar with her, don't get me wrong, I'm just passing by, Yuanjie and Yu Menghun explained in unison, leaving the Ning family confused. Yu family, I advise you to stay away, otherwise it will hurt you, but I can't blame my Ning family. Yu Menghun sneered and did not speak, she was disdainful in her heart. You Ning family can hurt me with your little minions? Even if your flaming sun god comes, it can't hurt me by half a point. With a drink, the guards of the Yu family waited in strict formation, ready to take a defensive posture. How many times have I said that don't talk about trash before fighting, this will only make your death more ugly. Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes and stood up. The kaleidoscope pattern of his right eye turned, and Yuanjie immediately raised his knife. Poof, heavenly hand power exchanged places with a great evening realm expert who had just spoken, and before he died, that Ning family expert couldn't figure out how he suddenly crashed into Yuanjie's knife. Yuanjie drew the knife and brought out a burst of blood, but it splashed Yu Menghun's body, and she still calmly took a sip of tea. Yuanjie looked at the other party deeply. Yuanjie broke into the enemy formation, and countless skills and dark weapons attacked his body. However, when all the attacks and dark weapons reached half a meter beside him, they stopped. Spicy heavenly plug, Shinra Tensei, bang, with him as the center, all the surrounding buildings were destroyed, and even a pit tens of meters deep was blown up. However, the Ningfu archway seemed to be wrapped in a mysterious force, and it was not damaged in the slightest, and it did not even shake for a moment. Sister, Yu Menghun raised her head and smiled gently at Yuanjie. Yuanjie narrowed her eyes, she took a cup of tea brewed by Yu Menghun and drank it all in one go. Your Excellency, good tea, Yu Menghun smiled indifferently. The powerful destructive power of Shinra Xianzhang destroyed all the houses in a radius of 10 miles. Yuanjie clapped his hands, closed the 6 modes, turned around and was about to leave, but felt a very weak breath of life. One of the Ning family masters was lucky, he was only seriously injured, but he did not die. He raised his head weakly, and his eyes were blurry. There is actually a fish that slipped through the net. An iron nail was attracted to Yuanjie's hand with a roar. He held it between his fingers and chuckled, it's not much fun to live, give you a pain. Then the 2 fingers parted, and the iron nails flew out like bullets, bringing out a trail of blood. On the other side, in front of the Azure Deo, there were 10 Ning family masters, and the Great Evening Realm and the Wrong Realm were mixed. The expert of the Ning family couldn't help but tremble when he saw the other party's strange attack method. What kind of monster are you? I am Zio, Azure Deo, Li Wenyu smiled evilly. His head suddenly opened, and a cannon port changed inside. At the muzzle, there is a strong light flashing. The masters of the Ning family felt the terrifying energy and quickly shouted, run, run, run? How to run? Where to run? A blue laser shot out from the top of Azure Deo's head, emitting a terrifying scream. As soon as Ning Yaowei looked up, he saw a laser splitting the Ning family in 2. The smoke cleared, leaving fiery red marks on the ground. The house that was shot through finally could not hold up and fell to both sides. Azure Deo kicked away the corpse that turned into char on the ground, and mocked, it's really boring, so unbeaten. At the same time, more than 10 Ning family masters surrounded by the side of the hungry Ghost Deo. Hungry Ghost Deo Dongyu covered his mouth and chuckled, making a touching voice, do you want to do something to me too? The Ning family master who took the lead looked at Dongyu's beautiful face and exquisite figure, licked his lips and smiled treacherously, sister, don't struggle, we will not only do it to you, but also move our legs later. The other party has a black rod on him? That's not a problem, just that it's not blocked. Hungry Gusteo's face instantly darkened. She hated this kind of dogman who coveted his body the most. The experts of the Ning family collectively dispatched and sent out a powerful attack. Don't kill the hand, leave a whole corpse. Attack skills with different light effects struck towards the hungry ghost road in all directions, and she froze, and a shield appeared on her body. The attack could no longer advance by half a point, but in the eyes of the other party, she had been drowned in the bombardment. The expected explosion smoke did not rise, and the hungry Gosteo stood in place unharmed, but the shield on his body was even more colored. Your spiritual power, I want it. More than a dozen chakra arms suddenly grew from her, tightly pinching the necks of the experts of the Ning family. The anime doesn't. I'm original. How so? My power is fading? The master of the Ning family was so frightened that his pupils dilated, and he said in disbelief. They had no way to struggle, let alone stop the loss of spiritual power. For the first time, they were afraid, and once their spiritual power was drained, they would become a wasted person with no power in their hands. After a moment, hungry Gosteo stretched. It's too much, I feel like I'm about to overflow. Step by step, she approached everyone in the Ning family who fell to the ground, and the man stepped on it fiercely. The woman was directly stabbed to death with a black rod. A terrifying cry sounded, frightening the Ajuradeo brother who rushed over. Ajuradeo, you blast them to death with one shot. I'm dirty, the hungry ghost left with a cold face. The three of Yuanjie sat on the archway of Ningfu for a long time, eating melon seeds while watching the Ultraman fighting monsters in the field. It seems that you are not brave enough, are we? Yuanjie shook his head. It's a pity, there is no Naruto in this world. It is a person who can see that Ning Yaoi is now downwind, being pressed to the ground by several giant psychic objects. Ning Yaoi fought very hard, he didn't have 3 heads and 6 arms, how could he fight a few monsters of the same level as him? Although he was injured, he could still fight all day. He put the 3-headed dog of hell on the ground with a harpoon, and was about to leave, but heard more dog barking. The 3-headed dog of hell separated the 3 hullhounds and roared and bit towards Ning Yaoi. Ning Yaoi kicked the 2 Cerberus away with 1 foot and 2 feet, and the Cerberus fell to the ground. They shook their heads and continued to rush forward desperately. My mud horse, what kind of monsters are this group? Ning Yaoi was shocked. Have you ever experienced despair? 3 hellhounds threw him down, and the rhinoceros rushed over and stomped on his chest. The head of the Ning family spat out a large bucket of blood uncontrollably. Beast Aojiang jumped on top of the rhinoceros's head, looked at Ning Yaoi with an indifferent expression, and said through gritted teeth. Have you ever felt pain? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. Ningyu gasped. After some battle, there was not much spiritual power left in his body, and his doubling technique would soon disappear. The moves on the opposite side are too bad, and the summoned monsters are as if they have no intelligence, and they are desperately scaring forward. The most important thing is that even if you knock down one of the monsters, the other party will summon another intact monster later. Just like Zioqiang, the vitality is tenacious. Unless it can kill the summoner in seconds, that is, the beast Aojiang. But the monster she summoned kept harassing him, making him unable to even get within 100 meters of the other party. He didn't know how to fight at all, and he lost no matter how he fought. In fact, he didn't know. The source was in Yuanjie. The black rod of the beast Aojiang can be seen as a receiver. Not only can Yuanjie see the world in the eyes of the other party, but most importantly, Yuanjie can provide a steady stream of spiritual power for the 6 puppets. There is also the absorption of spiritual power. The spiritual power absorbed by the hungry Gosteo will return to Yuanjie, and Yuanjie will send it out again. In fact, most of the power he uses is not his own power, but there is still left over. Your parents are dead, can you let me go? I swear that I will go to your parents on June 8th every year and ask them to forgive me. Jiang smiled, and she said sarcastically, why would you think that my father and mother will forgive you? They told me this morning that they must pay you in blood. It's reasonable for you to kill my whole family and I will destroy your whole family, right? Ning Yaoi covered his chest and said fearfully, can you let the Ning family go? Let them go, let yourself go, kill too much, and you will go to hell after death. The National Government Truth Society will not let you go. Jiang smiled. Reason with me now. I remember you once said that whoever has a big fist is the truth. Saying that, Jiang stretched out a black rod in his sleeve and instantly jumped onto Ning Yaowei's head. She wanted to blind his eyes. And then again. Ning Yaowei quickly turned his face, and although he dodged the fatal blow, his face was still scratched by the black rod with a long blood stain. Ning Yaowei, whose half of his face was disfigured, jumped away with a hideous face, and he put his hands together, wanting to shoot Jiang to death. Feeling the huge pressure of the two slaps coming together, Jiang's two sleeves stretched out the black rod unhurriedly. Ugh! The black rod passed through Ning Yaowei's palm and was exposed. He endured the severe pain and wanted to go further, and his two palms gradually closed. Shinra heavenly sign. At the critical moment, Yuanjie remotely sensed that the beast road was in danger, and he put a Shinra Shiansang on her. Shinra Shiansang instantly flicked his two palms into the air. One pull and one plug, let him feel the peak of the human body. Ning Yaowei's multiplication technique finally couldn't hold on, and he gradually shrunk and returned to his normal appearance. He covered his pierced palm and stared at the other party fiercely. Ning Yaowei didn't understand. He had killed countless geniuses for so many years. How could this strange thing suddenly appear in Jiang? How the hell did she come back to life? Why is the power after the resurrection so powerful? Moreover, her eyes were weird. He had never seen them before. But as long as it is a pair, you will feel palpitations inexplicably. You've done too much evil. Jiang continued to walk over with a black rod in both hands. The pain you attach to others is less than 1/10,000,000th of what you are at the moment. Open your eyes and see how your people were slaughtered by my companions. Are you happy? Ning Yaowei shrugged his face, and his weak body was grabbed by the collar by Jiang and mentioned to the 8 birds. Take him to appreciate the last moment of the Ning family's life. Ning Yaowei couldn't bear it. Don't go overboard. Screams, cries for help, desperate cries, the sound is endless. He never thought that one day his Ning family would also suffer such a catastrophe. Do you feel pain? A black rod passed through his chest, and Jiang grabbed his hair and looked into his eyes with an indifferent expression. Does it hurt? My parents are only my children. Can you feel the pain now? Why don't you shed tears? Why not cry? Why not call? Jiang slapped Ning Yaowei's face one by one. Tell me, why? Ning Yaowei's pupils suddenly dilated, and Jiang followed his gaze. A handsome young man, covered in blood, kept rescuing the wounded. That's your child, right? Ning Yaowei hurriedly shook his head with red eyes and said, no, that's not. He's not my child. I don't know him. Boom. Several black rods flew out of Jiang's sleeve and stabbed the young man to death. The young man was blind, his eyes widened, and he looked up at Ning Yaowei stunnedly. Nope. Ning Yaowei was thrown down. He didn't care about the pain, struggled to get up, and crawled to the young man's side. Xiao Teng, I'm sorry, it's Daddy who killed you. Woo woo, it's Daddy's fault, it's all Daddy's fault. Ning Yaowei held the young man's face with blood and tears, and cried with a handful of snot and tears. Now, you should be experiencing my parents' pain, right? Jiang's face did not fluctuate at all. Ning Yaowei turned around and shouted maniacally, I want you to die, I want you to die. You fucking slut. Poof, a black rod passed through his chest again, and Ning Yaowei stumbled a few steps. He smiled viciously and made a seal. After entering the mansion of my Ning family master, you still want to escape. I will definitely crush your corpse into 10,000 pieces and avenge the murder of your son. The surrounding buildings disappeared, and several iron chains tied Jiang in large shapes. The iron chain tightened more and more, strangling Jiang's limbs with traces of blood red. Jiang looked calm, and as soon as her right hand pulled hard, the iron chain broke. She rushed up and slapped Ning Yaowei's stomach. Psychic, black runes instantly filled his body. Ning Yaowei covered his stomach in disbelief and took a few steps back, as if he was enduring severe pain. Jiang walked over and pushed gently, and Ning Yaowei fell to the ground. You can't understand the real pain, roar. A hellish three-headed dog burst out of his belly. Jiang kicked the corpse in disgust and said lightly, your dirty body is only worthy of summoning a dog. Before Ning Yaowei closed his eyes, he saw countless geniuses and the ghosts of their families he had killed rushing towards him. Ha ha ha, you also have today. It turns out that you will die too? I thought you were invincible. It's not a pity that he died 100 times, we have hundreds of thousands of living lives here. It didn't take long for Ning Yaowei's soul to be torn to pieces by a group of angry unjust souls. Yuanjie put down the watermelon, picked up a tissue and wiped his mouth. It looks like it's coming to an end. Miss Rain, thank you for your hospitality. It's getting ready for rain. Go back and collect your clothes. Yuanjie didn't know how to feel it. Suddenly, her pupils shrank, and she suddenly raised her head to see that 2 and 3 extraterrestrial meteorites were falling towards the Ning family at great speed. Chapter 97. The size of the meteorite is similar to the size of the Ning family's territory, no more, no less, just perfectly covered. Yuanjie turned on the 6 modes, and the flying thunder god came to Xiang's side of the bisteo. He saw her holding Ning Yaowei's head in her hand and threw her a plastic bag in disgust. He instructed, take the garbage bag and pack it, don't stain my Shenwei space. Yes, Lord Tendo. Yuanjie put all 3 ways of pain into the divine power space, and then flew Thunder God back to Yuanjie. He took her hand and flew onto the back of the bird. When he saw the plaque of Ning Mansion hanging on the archway of the Ning family's territory, he looked at it twice. Yu Menghun stood under the meteorite, watching the 2 siblings of Yuanjie fly away on a bird, smiling like a flower. It's really interesting to kill decisively and be a funny and humorous person. The story of the fall of the Ning family soon spread throughout the entire family alliance. The Huangfu family, Huangfu Gaogayan, was cultivating and was alarmed. What? You said that the Ning family was destroyed? When was this? Just now. Huangfu Gaogayan's face changed, and he beckoned the spies to leave. The territory of the Huangfu family is 108,000 li away from the Ning family's mansion, one in the north and the other in the south. If the spies said just now, it has been at least more than half an hour. Who the hell is it? So daring? Isn't this a slap in the face of the Saga Alliance? Soon, photos of the scene were circulating. Extraterrestrial meteorite. Huangfu Gaogayan's eyes widened. This trick, he was very impressed. Isn't that a mysterious god that the demigod of their Huangfu family faced in the secret forest? However, he did not think about Yuanjie. Yuanjie had used the heavenly barrier shock star twice in total, the first time in the secret forest, after briefly obtaining majestic spiritual power with the full-body Susa experience card. The second time was used when fighting with the 5 gods such as the flaming sun god. At that time in the wilderness, no one found that it was him. Even the spies of the family alliance were secretly assassinated by Yuanjie's spirit objects, and the intelligence could not be sent. Huangfu Gaogayan frowned and muttered, could it be that the flaming sun god failed in their actions? Then, he thought of something terrible. If even the flaming sun god fails, then it must be the mysterious god of the secret realm forest who made a move. From the current indications, that mysterious god must have an extraordinary relationship with Yuanjie. It shouldn't be a national government or an academy person. Huangfu Gaogayan immediately calmed down. It seems that he can no longer make a move on Yuanjie and their sisters and brothers in a short period of time, and he must ease the relationship. Since these 2 people have masters behind them, they should still follow their hearts. Otherwise, the Ning families today is the tomorrow of their Huangfu family. The Wang family, the old ancestor of the Wang family, Wang Badian, was leisurely holding a kettle and watering flowers at this time, when a spy came in to report. Old ancestor, the Ning family is gone. Got it, you go down. Wang Badian waved his hand without raising his head. After the spies left, he wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. You're special. It's been a lot of trouble lately. It seems that my royal family has to keep a low profile. He didn't get entangled in whose hand it was, and if the spies knew, he wouldn't be a spy. Isn't the result obvious? That must be the joint encirclement and suppression of the 8 gods of the Academy. This is a demonstration. This is a warning. This is also a threat. Although the Ning family is indeed insignificant compared to the Wang family, how to say, they are all Jingcheng and even the 20 families of the Great Xia dynasty. Doesn't this mean that if it is gone, it is gone? Suddenly, a tattered plaque fell from the air in the garden of Wang Badi's old mansion. Who is so unqualified? What should I do if I litter and hit flowers and plants? Wang Badian walked over with an angry face, and when he saw the broken wood, there was actually a word Ning written on it. He glanced left and right, confirmed that there was no one, and then calmly received the plaque fragment into the space ring. He just felt sorry for the flowers he planted and nothing more. It really doesn't mean anything else, don't think about it. Xiang put Ning Yaowei's head in front of his parents' grave and was silent for a long time. Yuanjie disliked that this was not beautiful, so he sucked the dirt from the river next to him, pinched a kneeling sculpture in front of the grave, and then put his head up. Well, That's a lot more interesting. From a distance, it looked like Ning Yaowei was kneeling down and begging Jiang's parents for forgiveness. Lord Zishiandao, Jiang said, wanting to kneel down and kowtow. Yuanjie quickly helped her up and stopped her movement. Ouch, what are you doing? Yuanjie shook his head. No, it won't be, all a few brothers, you can help me do things well in the future. Jiang nodded with tears in her eyes. Since Ganyu summoned Kag's wronged soul, he quickly placed her band among the 6 dolls. Don't resist. No betrayal. Do not do anything to Heavenly Dao and its family and friends, otherwise the soul will be annihilated. Therefore, hungry ghost Dao Dongyu and Azure Dao Li Wen had hot eyes at this time, and their hearts were subtly loyal to Yuanjie, and they were looking forward to the day when their great revenge could also be rewarded. After wasting half a day, Yuanjie felt a strong smell of blood on his body, and he hurried home to wash the incense. Yuanjie left halfway, and said that there would be more days together in the future, and don't care about this twilight. Yuanjie thought she was shy. After all, after leaving home for 5 years, she may be estranged from Li Tiansha's feelings. He thought that he would tell his sister after he was with Li Tiansha. Give her a huge surprise. Yuanjie wiped his hair and walked out, and Li Tiansha just came back from exercise. She directly ignored his 8-pack abs, stepped forward, and found that there was actually blood on his back. Li Tiansha frowned. Are you injured? No, right? Blood is also someone else's blood. Yuanjie said calmly, by the way, I just went to destroy the Ning family. Oh, Li Tiansha never asked him what he was doing, nor did he question what he did. She thought for a while, raised her head and asked, Ning family? Isn't it that when you killed the Jin family in Jiangho No. 1 middle school, the dozen or so people you killed by the way seemed to be from the Ning family? Yuanjie smiled and said, it's really them. Li Tiansha and Ning Lu have a conflict. And Ning Xiaojun wanted to kill her at the beginning. Regardless of whether Wei threatens or not, just if the Ning family wants to attack the people around him for this act of touching the dragon scales, the Ning family can't stay. Besides, what the Ning family has done over the years, even without him Yuanjie, others will get rid of it quickly. Alice, the world is as black as a crow, and how many Ning families are there in the world where this family is in power today? Killing the Ning family is not only to help Jiang take revenge. In fact, the most important strategic significance is to warn that group of families. Stop it, Azu, it's all Brother Ji outside. That evening, the Saga Alliance held an emergency meeting on the demise of the Ning family. Chapter 98. Do you have any thoughts on the destruction of the Ning family this morning? Huang Fugaogayan said on the main throne with an indifferent expression. For example, is there any intelligence who did it, or, who knows why the Ning family was destroyed? Silence, death-like silence. Huang Fugaogayan's face became more and more ugly. He looked at Zhou Qianyu, the head of the Zhou family, and the other party hurriedly lowered his head. Then Huang Fugaogayan looked at a few more people, and without exception, all of them were unwilling to speak. Snap, are you dumb? Can't say a word? Someone cautiously replied, just say what the leader says, we'll listen. Huang Fugaogayan wordlessly scanned the heads of major families. On weekdays, they could quarrel with each other about the well-being of their families for something trivial, and now, they were reluctant to speak. Wang Badian and Yu Huoxu were sitting next to the alliance master, sitting tall, so that people could not fault anything. Huang Fugaogayan tilted his head and looked at the old ancestor of the Wang family, Wang Badian, and asked, Decepticon, has your Wang family found any clues? Wang Badian's heart was cold. He found out, but he didn't dare to say it. It is worthy of being an old monster who has lived for 500 years, he replied calmly. That's not it, nothing happened in one day. Moreover, our Wang family is far away from the Ning family. We are in the west, the Ning family is in the southeast. If you want to ask, the alliance owner should also ask the Yu family closest to the Ning family first. Right, Huang Fugaogayan frowned. It seemed that the other party did not understand what he meant. I mean, the academy is basically gathered near your house. Do they have any masters today? Wang Badian shook his head indifferently. Huang Fugaogayan didn't look at the Yu family's head Yu Huoxu. She took the initiative to say, the other party's strength is very strong. Our people just arrived. They looked up and saw many extraterrestrial meteorites. For the safety of the Yu family's guards, I quickly let them withdraw. Huang Fugaogayan always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't say it. With the strength of their Yu family, isn't it just 10 kilometers in an instant? Moreover, how can anyone exterminate the clan and amplify the move? Shouldn't we kill first? He frowned. What about street surveillance? The monitoring of that area belongs to your Yu family. Don't tell me that you haven't investigated. Yu Huaxu sighed with a solemn expression. The other party is very vigilant, and the monitoring has been damaged when the war started. Yu Huaxu didn't tell the truth. The monitoring was indeed broken, but it was deliberately damaged by their Yu family. Huangfu Gaogayan pondered. This clue was broken all of a sudden. But what? In the conference room, everyone's hearts were lifted by rain and snow. We have seen the murderer. Huangfu Gaogayan's eyes lit up. It seems that the Yu family is still a little useful. Yu Hozu first took a sip of tea and said without hurry, the other party is dressed in auspicious clouds and black robes, claiming to be Xiao. Xiao, said Huangfu Gaogayan in a deep voice. It seems that this world is still peaceful, and any cow and horse organization dares to emerge. Have they all forgotten the domination of their family alliance over the great Xia dynasty? The wings are hard. And everyone wants to step on the head of the family and? His eyes suddenly became fierce. But the rain turned into snow, and the next word poured a bucket of cold water on his head. I once had a conversation with him, and he said that the original intention of the Xiao organization was to break through the last ray of darkness and know the light of things. Yu Huaxu shook his head in shame. It's terrifying. I can't see his cultivation clearly. As soon as these words came out, they shocked the entire Saga Alliance. Can't see clearly? The head of the Yu family is a top 10 god, a supermaster at the top of the Great Evening Realm. There are actually people who she can't see clearly cultivation? Everyone gasped. Could it be? The legendary Hidden Door shot? No, it shouldn't be them. The Hidden Door never asks about the world. Even if they are born, the family will be their best spokesperson. Moreover, for nearly 100 years, the Hidden Door has been blocked in a different dimension space by the Heavenly Dao, and it is impossible for anyone to run out. So who is this Xiao organization? Yu Huaxu wanted to laugh when she saw their expressions. In fact, the reason why she said this was because her daughter had asked Yuanjie if she could reveal their identities. Yuanjie thought about it at that time. Since he has done good things, let's leave a name. As for her words that she couldn't see Xiu Wei clearly, she said so on her own initiative. The purpose is to keep the organization from being strangled in the cradle. Because Yuanjie is of great use to their Yu family. The interests of the Saga Alliance are simply insignificant compared to the future of the Yu family. The so-called alliance is nothing more than a piece of scattered sand, separate in its own way. In the future, if Yuanjie's Xiao organization destroys a few more families, it will also be beneficial to their Yu family. Family, it's still too much? Yu Huaxu sighed in her heart. In the era of the emperor, there were only 13 families, which were qualified to be called families. Now, all the cows, horses, snakes, and gods have proclaimed themselves. Do they have this ability? Is there such a skill? Is there such a responsibility? The Saga Alliance meeting fell into a long period of silence. Above the night, many people don't know what realm it is, but only know that it is real. So be it, adjourn. Huangfu Gaogayan rubbed his temples and sat quietly on the main throne. The small family wanted to say something more, but they didn't dare to say it. They were afraid, and Xiao's next target was them. At this moment, seeing the attitude of the Saga Alliance towards the demise of the Ning family, they felt both cold and powerless. The big families pretended to go back calmly. They wanted to go home immediately to hold a family meeting to summarize the reasons for the demise of the Ning family, and to learn a lesson. They must not follow in the footsteps of the Ning family. It's not too late. Huangfu Gaogayan sat in the Alliance conference room until 1 o'clock in the morning before returning. During this time, he thought a lot. In fact, he could guess that the Xiao organization should have a great relationship with Yuanjie, but he didn't expect that there was such a big figure standing behind the other party. This is difficult. Our Huangfu family has already formed a grudge with Yuanjie. He was annoyed, and he knew that he would not be so impulsive in the first place. How do you turn enemies into friends? On the other side, the rain house. Mom, what did the meeting say? Yu Mangum greeted the past as soon as possible. Yu Hozu touched her head lovingly and said softly, don't worry, they don't dare to attack Yuanjie. Yu Huaxu saw her daughter's blushing appearance, and said with a smile, how, can't wait? Yu Mangum didn't look over, and whispered, where's it? Yu Huaxu took her daughter's little hand, sat on the swing in the yard, and whispered. You don't have to worry, it is rumored that the geniuses of the SSS-level physique will attract each other, and the fate is connected, and it is a pair made in heaven and earth. Although tens of thousands of years have passed, there are still more than 10 SSS-level physiques in existence, but everyone else is too old, and only your age is the most compatible with him. Mom, isn't there still his sister Yuanjie? You also know that Yuanjie is his sister. How is it possible? Chapter 99. In the academic conference room, Li Qing sat down with a notebook, and the complicated sounds below immediately stopped. If you have something, just say, let's disperse the meeting if there is nothing to do. Everyone is a big guy with hundreds of thousands of minutes per minute, so I won't delay your time. At this time, someone below immediately raised his hand and spoke. Dean Li, what I want to talk about is the alliance between our academy and the family. Since you issued a piece of paper, let's drive out all the students of the family. In itself, I personally do not understand your behavior. That's right, you are the dean of the desolate ancient academy of the three major academies of the Great Xia dynasty, but what about us? It's not even a top 10 originally relying on that group of children of the family who came to school at their own expense. Now it's good, you actually let us drive the god of wealth away. I don't understand. Li Qing narrowed his eyes, and a slight smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Flying Dragon Academy, there are a total of 20 colleges in the Great Xia dynasty, and you rank 13, which is not small, right? Su Jiameng, the dean of the Flying Dragon Academy, said in a deep voice. Our Flying Dragon Academy is small, that is compared to your desolate ancient academy. Li Qing stood up and looked around. The deans who are qualified to sit here are all in a college. I hope you don't be presumptuous. Don't even lose your conscience in order to earn that little black money. At this time, the dean of Rinnegan Academy, who was sitting next to Li Qing, spoke. Li Qing, I actually think that there is no need for our academic sect and the family alliance to be so stiff. Li Qing raised his hand and motioned for him to continue. I know the reason for your anger is because their family has mutilated millions of geniuses in 100 years, but if you do this now, will those geniuses be resurrected? Someone below immediately seconded. Yes, the dean of Rinnegan Academy continued. I personally believe that breaking with the Saga alliance is a foolish act that loses both. I propose to let the children of the family return to school, and since they want to be punished, then increase their tuition fees to 10 times. Anyway, they are not short of money, in this case. Hello me, hello everyone. Isn't it? Rinnegan Academy is one of the three major colleges, and his words are very authoritative, and he immediately received a positive response from many deans. Li Qing and Fang Yu, the dean of the Six Dao Academy, exchanged glances with each other. Then Fang Yu said, now, it has only been a week since the rupture was announced, and you guys can't wait to curry favor with the family alliance. To be honest, I don't know what you think, the dean of Rinnegan Academy replied lightly. This is not to curry favor, this is to consider the vital interests of all the principals. Li Qing looked at him, shook his head and sighed. Guzi, you have changed, you were not like this before. Then, he looked at the people below and said, dare to ask the deans, have you forgotten the original intention and mission of the academy? When my ancestors founded the academy, they put forward a wise saying, the way of university is in Mingming, in being close to the people, and in ending in the utmost goodness. Li Qing said bitterly, look at your current behavior, for the sake of copper smell. Even the most basic virtue has been discarded. Guzi, the dean of Rinnegan Academy, retorted, it is precisely because our academy wants to promote virtue and goodness that we must accept the children of the family, let them reform themselves, and not follow the bloody road of their fathers. Is it useful? Li Qing smiled. He walked over and patted Guzi's shoulder and asked, is it useful, you tell me? Seeing that the other party did not reply, he continued, the history of the academy is longer than that of the family. For hundreds of thousands of years, we have cultivated a large number of talents for the country, for the society, and for this land we love so much. After they graduated, some became generals and defended their country, some became public servants to benefit the people. Some stayed behind to continue their careers in education and inherited our will. However, most of them returned to the family, and some of the students even became the heads of the family. As he spoke, Li Qing's tone gradually became cold. The current family alliance master, Huang Fugongyan, graduated from our school, and the recently destroyed Ning family head Ning Yaowei graduated from the Six Dao Academy, and the notorious Zhou family head Zhou Qianyu also graduated from our academy. Didn't the teacher of our desolate ancient academy teach him well how to behave? Li Qing's words made the deans bow their heads. In the academy, there are not only martial arts classes, but also literary classes that account for a lot of weight. The main purpose of the literature class is to explain history, share the glorious deeds of ancestors, and shape virtue. The teachers of the academy have talked about the great principles of being a person countless times. The result? Is it useful? The once excellent students of their academy seem to have changed after graduation, and they couldn't wait to cut a butcher knife at the weak civilians. Did the academy teach them to do this kind of behavior? I'm 100% sure that no academy teacher will teach students to kill indiscriminately. Seeing that everyone was silent, Li Qing continued to say loudly, "But why did they become such people?" Feng Yu got up and answered, "I think Dean Li Qing is right. At the academy, a person's life is ultimately short. What can really affect a person, and more importantly, the family environment? The so-called dragon gives birth to a dragon, a phoenix gives birth to a phoenix, and the son of a mouse will make a hole." The students who graduated from our academy, even if they had good intentions at the beginning, were later influenced by the family customs, and the dragon slayer eventually became an evil dragon. The dean of Rinnegan Academy looked calm, his face did not wave, and after Feng Yu stopped speaking, he said lightly, "According to Dean Li Qing's meaning, no matter how hard our academy works, the children of the family will eventually become demons. I think that's a bad statement. You can't kill everyone with a stick." He slowly stood up, glanced at everyone, and said word by word, "Then let me ask Dean Li Qing, in the future, will the academy not accept the children of the family?" This was obviously a big pit, and he dug it out and forced Li Qing and Feng Yu to jump. The two frowned at the same time. This question, didn't they set them on the fire and roast them? If the answer is yes, the deans below will immediately riot. And the tuition fees donated by the Saga Alliance every year account for 70% of the college's income. If the answer is no, then what they just said is tantamount to nonsense, and they first denied it. Seeing that the deans of the two colleges did not speak, Guzi shook his head and laughed. "It seems that our two leaders cannot give constructive opinions. I, Rinnegan Academy, think that Li Qing and Feng Yu's unauthorized decision has caused immeasurable losses to the academy. I, Dean of Rinnegan Academy, Guzi, personally propose, remove their two deans from their positions in the academy. After hundreds of years of academic decline, it's time for a wise leader to step up." Chapter 100. The dean of the academy below, "You look at me, I look at you, you can't understand the current situation. Why did you suddenly force the palace?" Dean Guzi of Rinnegan is right. In the past 100 years, the academic school has indeed been inferior year by year, but it is not to say that it has declined, right? Now the academy, whether it is prestige or strength, is even stronger than the current royal family. Ignoring the consternation of the others, the dean of Rinnegan Academy said to himself, "Raise your hands and vote. Who is in favor and who is against?" Feng Yu looked at him with anger on his face. Li Qing looked indifferent. Below, the dean of the academy raised his hand, but most of the people were watching. The academy fends with a new leader, and they are not sure whether there will be light. Anyway, for now, Li Qing is doing very well. The allocation of resources is very reasonable, and there is no situation where the front college gives priority to eating meat, and the back college can only eat porridge. "Who else?" Guzi shouted loudly. This roar frightened the neutral deans. They looked around, and it seemed that 5 deans had now raised their hands to vote. It seems that the tide has passed. Li Qing waved his hand and said nonchalantly, "Okay, Guzi can do what you want. The academy is already decayed. I don't want to care about it for a long time. Without this false name, I may be able to live a little more freely. Dear colleagues, there will be a period later." "Oh, no. It should be. The Tao is different. Do not conspire against each other. Goodbye." After speaking, Li Qing took Feng Yu and left the conference room. Bang! A loud noise. Feng Yu was angry, and the sound of him closing the door was particularly loud. "Teacher, why are you leaving? Are you just watching other academies go astray?" Li Qing shook his head and said, "Feng Yu, you have to recognize yourself. We are not saviors. We have no obligation to save everyone. Just be yourself." After that, he kicked the door of the conference room, and inside, one by one, the deans looked stunned. "You are allowed to leave this office within 3 breaths. Don't forget, this is the territory of my desolate ancient academy." Li Qing exuded a strong aura that overwhelmed everyone. They seemed to have forgotten just now that Li Qing was the 3rd-ranked Azure God, and as long as he wanted to, he could pinch them to death at will. Li Qing kicked Guzi out of the window with a kick of the divine dragon, and then looked at the others. "If you want to leave, leave quickly. I won't send you guys. He and Feng Yu walked to the window and looked at Guzi, who was carried away by everyone. His eyes were cold. Guzi, don't you just want to be an academic speaker? I kicked you to waste. See what else you do? Dream away. Feng Yu looked at him with a worried expression. Teacher, what should we do next? It's late now. I'll go to your majesty tomorrow. At 1 o'clock in the morning, another shocking news came out. The top 3 Six-Dao colleges and desolate ancient colleges in the Great Xia dynasty announced their withdrawal from the academy at the same time. Among them, the Earth God King, the Time God, the Moon Dance God, and the Azure God and Wind God of the desolate ancient academy announced at the same time that they would no longer serve the academy. In the future, the Six-Dao Academy and the Ancient Academy will remain independent and will not participate in the decisions and disputes of the academy. Others, the 8 great gods of the academy ran away 5 overnight. What the hell is going on? Why did it suddenly change? Is that the 2 major academies of the Six-Dao and the desolate ancient sect that will not be recognized? Everyone talked about it, some applauded, and more regretful. Six-Dao College and Huanggu College, in Daxia, are well known throughout the country, and no mathematician students take it as their lifelong goal. All of a sudden, you tell me the 2 colleges are independent? Is it true that the graduation certificates of attending these 2 colleges in the future will not be officially recognized? This matter is very big, and everyone is waiting for the response of the royal family of the Great Xia dynasty. In the Saga Alliance, almost all the owners breathed a sigh of relief. It is a great thing for the family that the academy that has been opposed to them has fallen apart today. What are you all looking at me for? Drink. Huangfu Gaogain raised his cup. Cheers. After learning of this good thing, the ecstatic Saga Alliance hurriedly burned a cannon battle at noon and held a banquet to celebrate the departure of the academy. But soon, I don't know which old 6 mentioned it, and the wine in the crowd seemed to be not fragrant. They are indeed a little overjoyed, although the academic faction exists in name only, but there is also a Zio organization of unknown strength. They are more afraid of that mysterious force than with the academy. What? Academic collapse? Yuanjie was cultivating and listened to his girlfriend talk about this. The woman wearing a light blue flower on her head smiled and said, "Yes, Sister Yuanjie, didn't you say that you have joined your brother's Zio organization? Let's see if there is a chance to win over the gods of the Six-Daos and the desolate ancient world." Yuanjie pinched his girlfriend's face and smiled. "Little Nizzy, you are so smart." The woman gently patted Yuanjie's hand and said with a grin, "In other words, when will you bring your brother over to meet us? He is the first man in 10,000 years to awaken an SSS-level physique, and Susu and I are very curious." Yuanjie looked wary. "What do you want to do? I tell you, both of you are too old and I don't agree with this marriage." "Oops, petty. Just see it, and he won't lose a piece of meat." "Go and go. Hugh wants to hit my brother's idea." "Yuanjie, shouldn't you have secretly visited the orthopedic department?" the 2 girlfriends said in shock. On the other side, in the palace, "Your Majesty, the Azure God of the desolate ancient academy is in sight." The middle-aged man stopped writing blankly. He didn't know what wind blew the Azure God over. "Invite him in." "Oh." The Azure God changed his green and walked in with his head held high. After seeing the middle-aged man, he respectfully saluted. "See Your Majesty, Ai Qing, you and I are brothers, there is no need to be polite." The middle-aged man pulled Li Qing into the imperial study, and the 2 sat on the ground. After he gave Li Qingman a cup of tea, he took it up alone and took a sip. "Ai Qing, I heard that you quit the academy. Can you tell me what's going on?" The academic faction is the existence of the alliance with a family in China, restraining each other. Once the academy fail, the family will be lawless. This is not what he wants to see. Now in Daxia, the family is the only one, even stronger than him, the royal family, making it difficult for him to sleep. Li Qing elaborated on what happened last night. The middle-aged man frowned. He didn't expect that what seemed to be an academic school with one heart was actually a dark tide. It was not enough to break with the family for a week, and someone came out to force the palace. He patted Li Qing's hand and comforted, "Ai Qing, the matter has come to this. I can only fully support your decision. As for the academies other than the Six-Dao and the Iragaku, the state will not provide any resources in the future. Let them fend for themselves." End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all, see you in the next video.